I'm
like
actually
AB.
I'm actually the most concerned about our future and the president that Donald Trump is setting, as he is playing a wannabe authoritarian that is attempting to rewrite the rules. I mean, how scary does our future look when our current president is saying that it's illegal to criticize him in the media, and we see no pushback or fight against this from Congress or SCOTUS? How scary
Yeah,
is our
I don't believe
future?
that he's doing that.
Would you like to hear him say it?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, that one's easy. Let's go and pull up YouTube here on the computer. Trump says it's illegal to criticize him in the media. We're going to play you two clips. He said this 2 times in 2 different ways. The first clip I'm going to play you is from him on Air Force One, saying that he thinks the licenses should be revoked for media organizations that speak negatively.
I read someplace that they're 97% against. They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
So there's him saying that the licenses should be taken away.
You avoided defeat.
And then here, this next clip that I'm going to play is him saying that it's literally illegal to criticize him.
See, I think that they'll take a great story and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal, personally. You can't have a free airwaves. You're getting free airwaves from the United States government, and you can't have that and say, and somebody that just won an election, and I had to go through this during the election. I think it's a miracle that I can win.
There you go.
What he's clearly talking about is when they say things that are untrue, to spin a story in a direction away from him.
Yeah, we find many issues with this. So first and foremost, are you saying that he's the arbiter of what is or isn't misinformation? Because, like, for instance, when I say that I think that the big, beautiful bill is one of the worst bills in American history, and I provide my reasoning why, Donald Trump would say that's not true, meaning Donald Trump thinks that's illegal.
Yeah, no, he's not the arbiter of truth.
Okay. All right. Well, then you're just disagreeing what he's saying there. Because even if we accept the interpretation that he's talking about misinformation, well, he would say what I just said is misinformation, meaning under your view, you would categorize that as something that Donald Trump would want to make illegal, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let me be
just
clear.
talking about blatant lies.
Let me be clear. So when I say that I think that the big, beautiful bill is an atrocious piece of legislation and Donald Trump is a wannabe authoritarian for doing things that are blatantly unconstitutional, would you classify that as speech in which Donald Trump would deem as misinformation?
The second half of that, I think he wouldn't care about what you have to say about his big, beautiful bill.
Can we agree that those are things that he would classify as misinformation?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're saying he doesn't think that there's.
I think if you baselessly call him a fascist or authoritarian, yes, but otherwise, like, no.
Okay, I do call Trump a fascist. So would you say that's something that he'd classify as misinformation?
Well, yeah, if you say it baselessly.
Okay. Wait, so you're saying I could say that with a base?
Well, no, my point is that he's not. So, like, objectively, you're wrong.
Okay. All right. So that is something that you think he'd classify as misinformation. So you think he's saying it should be illegal for me to call him a fascist?
Yeah.
And you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, if you lie about him being
oh God!
If you lie about him being a fascist, then
wow, that's
why
crazy.
should you have airtime?
Wow, that's crazy. So you think if Donald Trump were to get me taken down right now and send the Secret Service to my house or the FBI to my house to arrest me because he said it was illegal, you'd be okay with that?
No, he didn't suggest that in the clip. He suggested that you shouldn't have airtime
if
you're
it's illegal.
Media broadcasting. He said it's illegal if you're a media broadcasting company.
So if I was on TV, so you think if I was doing the same thing I'm doing right now, but I wasn't doing it on TikTok, I had my own TV show, and I was talking to a Trump supporter, and I told that Trump supporter, listen, I think that Donald J. Trump is a fascist because he fulfills all 14 characteristics of fascism, ranging from attempted election fraud to the identification of enemies as a unifying cause for his base, protecting corporate power, suppressing labor power, and pushing ultra nationalism and supremacy of the military and rampant sexism. You would say if I said that on TV and then Donald Trump turned around, got me pushed off TV and taken away in handcuffs, that you would support that.
Look, I don't think that that would get you taken down, but it's when the government provides you a license and you blatantly lie.
Can you answer my question?
Um,
If he took me down for that and he said what I did was illegal and he called on his FBI to investigate me, would you support that?
no.
Okay, so then you're telling me that you don't support Donald Trump saying it's illegal to criticize him on the TV and in media, even if he's attempting to get people pulled from the air for things he deems and you deem as misinformation. So now you see why even your interpretation of what Donald Trump said there is still incredibly problematic, and now it's something that we've
Well, now
agreed is problematic.
Well, no, the problem is I'm just interpreting him differently. When Jimmy Kimmel says something obviously false, then his license should be pulled.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. I think that the media is the domain of public discourse, and I think that public discourse would include competitive thought, critique of thought that we disagree with, while uplifting thought that we agree with. That is what the media is supposed to be, right? And as soon as we usher in this idea that, well, those in power, the president of the United States of America, should be able to infringe on that domain of thought, and not just merely criticize speech that he thinks is wrong, but actively condemn and silence speech that he thinks is wrong. You're shifting the domain of the media away from public discourse, debate, critical thought, and criticism of belief that we disagree to a mere reflection of what those in power have a preference for or against. And this is, once again, one of the reasons why I think that he's a fascist, and one of the reasons why I think that you're being sympathetic to fascism by saying that you actively agree with these ideas.
Look, the problem is, though, you're appealing to this idea of special power that certain people have as a reason why they shouldn't be able to infringe on speech. But the media won't play things that they deem like we don't like it, right? So, and the media is controlled by leftists. It used to, right? Twitter used to be controlled by leftists, and they would take you down if you didn't say the right thing. So, like, this is like special pleading from your side.
So now you're saying that apparently social media platforms have taken individuals down in the past for not saying the right thing. So you're talking to a creator on TikTok right now that gets taken down every other day for not saying the right thing. And you don't see me whining and blaming that on the Trump administration, because at the end of the day, that's going to be me whining and blaming it on the terrible terms of service of a private company, that being ByteDance and TikTok, right? I think it's incredibly unfair for you to compare, a private company and their suboptimal terms of service to government overreach and an attempted abuse of governmental power to silence speech that you disagree with. Right? Because if you're saying that those two forms of speech are comparable, should I just start blaming all of the bans that I get on TikTok for my speech on Trump? Because
No,
I think
you shouldn't.
Oh,
No.
so now you're
The
saying
problem is-
that a private company taking me down for my speech is different than Trump taking someone down for their speech, right? Or else you'd tell me that I could blame it on him. But now that you've recognized this difference, you're just affirming that your last comparison to Twitter when it was owned by a liberal to what Donald Trump is doing today is incredibly disingenuous, in bad faith, and incorrect.
No, it's not. The difference is that TikTok. Well, no. Okay, you can laugh all you want, but there are areas and units, or there are people that are able. They have more influence on your speech than the president.
My God. So you're telling me
So-
that if a social media platform takes you down for being conservative, then you could blame it on the Democrats in power. But if a social media platform takes you down for being a liberal, then you can't blame it on the Republicans in power. Is that not
That's
like
not what I
hypocrisy?
said.
That is what you said, because you're still trying to draw a parallel.
No.
You're still trying to
You're
draw a parallel.
conflating what I said with something else.
No, I think you're conflating Donald Trump.
You're making a
saying that it's
non-sequitur
illegal
fallacy.
you're conflating Donald Trump saying that it's illegal to criticize him in the media to Twitter taking someone down when they were owned by liberals, right? That was your comparison, correct?
No, but it's
That wasn't your
specifically
comparison? Can you
him-
please repeat that comparison that you made just so it's
Okay,
clear to
you're
me and
just-
everyone else who is listening?
You're just lying. So
I'm
said
not.
that
Wait.
you
Now you're
can't
saying that I'm
say
lying.
a blatant
One
lie.
second. You're saying that I'm lying. A lie would be intentionally saying something that is false. I'm not intentionally saying something that was false, and I have a very compelling argument. It's because I didn't say something that was false as I asked a question, and questions can't be true or false. My question was, once again, what was the comparison that you made between Donald Trump saying that it's illegal to criticize him in the media and Twitter taking people down when they're owned by a liberal? What was that comparison? Would you repeat it for us?
He didn't say that it's illegal to criticize him. He said it's illegal to lie about him.
No, he said it's...
And to lie about Republicans.
He said that it's illegal.
Like Jimmy Kimmel did.
He said that it's illegal to take a great story and make it bad. What do you think he means when he says great story?
I think he means making up false things about a story to make it seem bad. As in lying.
Wait, did you actually know that it's not illegal to lie? Oh. So even
is
if
it
you
illegal
want
to defame?
even if
is
you
it
want
illegal
to talk about,
defame?
yes, but
No,
defamation is not identical to lying.
There you go.
Defamation's not identical to lying.
If you lie about someone, that's defamation.
Actually, no, it's not.
If you lie about them in a bad way.
Legal defamation and slander is going to be propagating misinformation about someone or an entity that results in real material damages or losses, right? So defamation and slander are not identical to lying. Yeah, misinformation and lying is covered under the First Amendment, and the only exclusions for this would be defamation and slander when said misinformation would result in real material harm. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to take Donald Trump saying, well, they criticized me in the media and equate that to saying, well, they're lying about me that's resulting in real material harm, as that would just be a significant misinterpretation of what he's saying. And once again, well, even if he's talking about misinformation, are you telling me that he only is wanting to attack and take down misinformation propagated on the left? Because in both those clips, he talked about news channels that are reporting 97% negatively about him. Okay, the only news channels that would be reporting so much bad stuff about him would be those on the left. And he's saying that is what is illegal. So even if we accept your interpretation of what Donald Trump said in both those clips, are you just saying that you think your president, who you support, is attempting to combat misinformation on the left while not caring about misinformation on the right?
The majority media broadcasting is on the left, so it's just a ridiculous thing to say. He's focused on that because that's the majority of it.
Isn't the largest news source in America today Twitter? And who is Twitter owned by?
He's talking about news channels as in radio broadcasting. Am I not wrong?
Well, you just had news, and you said that majority of news reporting is on the left. And even if we were, and I'm not going to accept that majority of news reporting is on the left, but even if it was, are you just saying that he doesn't care about the minority of misinformation that's being propagated by his side?
Why would you care about the minority of something? You care about the majority, the biggest impact first.
So you're basically just saying that you think that the impact of misinformation on the left is larger than the impact of misinformation on the right. Therefore, you don't care about misinformation on the right.
Not as much. Of course.
Dude, not as much. So it's not about misinformation at all. It's about trying to play partisan politics and silencing those that you disagree with.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You
I
just
never
told
said
me.
that.
Because the moment you say that you don't care about misinformation on the right is the moment where you make it clear that this was never about misinformation.
Look, your side loves to take down voices with lead, so...
I'm so sorry,
I don't know
sir.
why you're talking.
You have absolutely no platform to talk about the left taking down any voices when you're actively supporting the president that you think is specifically combating and attacking voices on the left that criticize him, right? And then even about the left taking down voices, what are you talking about? Cancel culture, I'd assume?
That's one, but you also took
Exactly. Well, guess what? There's a really big difference between the people in cancel culture, which is actually just a faculty of the domain of public discourse, debate, and criticism, and comparing that to fascism in state-controlled media.
The state literally controls the media. That's why the public discourse is driven by the media, which happens to be leftist most of the time.
So you said that the state already controls the media. What?
You think BlackRock doesn't control the media? You think that they don't own all of these companies like ABC and the New York Times and everything in between?
So point number one, BlackRock isn't the state. And point number two, BlackRock is an investment firm.
They're bigger than like all states. If they were a country, they would be richer than almost all others.
Keyword if. They're not.
But my point is they have the same reach as a country.
But my point is
they own
they're not
the
our
media.
country.
They own everything. They own everything.
So my point is they're not our country. And my second point is they're an investment firm. It's not like there's Mr. BlackRock that is making all the executive decisions with their investments. It's private individual citizens going to BlackRock and giving them their money to invest on their behalf. And additionally here, do you think that state-controlled media is a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing, but
wait, so if state-controlled media is a bad thing, and then you already admitted that the state is trying to control the media by attempting to apparently take down misinformation, as Donald Trump suggested, then why can't we just agree that it was a bad thing?
The problem is when people lie, though, the state can remove them. Like, the state does not have to uphold liars.
Okay, well, see, I think my issue here is I don't think that the state...
Like Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't think that the state should be able to determine what is or isn't misinformation for the reasons that I've already given. Like, for instance, right, if I had a TV show and I wanted to say that Donald Trump is a rapist, he would call me a liar, right?
Yeah.
So he would take me down.
Yeah.
And would you support that?
Because you're lying. Yeah, because you're lying.
Okay, right. And now that's the point where we've gotten, where Donald Trump can be held civilly liable in a court of law for rape, and then have media pundits on TV say that he's therefore a rapist because the court concluded that he was a rapist, and then have you, who is a fascist, support him, who is a fascist, using the state to silence that speech. You are disgusting, you are antithetical to core American values, and you stand against everything that I stand for if you not just entertain, but are actively supporting the notion that the president should be able to cancel people, silence them, get them taken off of TV and away from the media for calling him something that a unanimous jury of 9 concluded he is, right? And in fact,
those courts are witch hunts.
Oh,
have you read them?
Watch this, sir. You know what I'm going to do to you right now? I'm going to kick you from my stream, and you cannot be mad at that at all, because I think that you are spreading misinformation when you are now suggesting that Donald Trump isn't a rapist. So from my perspective, you would have to admit that I'm internally justified in silencing your speech right now. Say, Dean,
okay,
you are justified in kicking me because of my own argument.
You are gay.
We're gonna move on to the next guest. Get pushed. Let's get that next guest loaded up in here. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump as president. We'll get you connected. Oh God, man, we literally have Trump supporters supporting fascism now. We literally have Trump supporters saying that state-controlled media is a good thing, and Donald Trump should be an all-powerful leader that determines what's right and what's wrong, and silence the speech of those that he thinks is wrong. Like, this is crazy work, bruh. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
26.
Awesome. Real quick before we hop into the debate, Angela, thank you for the $2 on Venmo, saying today I debated pro-lifers, and for the first time as an ex-pro-lifer, I felt the confidence to do so because of what I've learned from you. That is awesome. Let's go. As well as Tim, thank you so much for the $20 donation over on PayPal. Thank you, Tim. Let's get 200 Tim W's in that comment section, saying as a Gen Xer, I love how you eat these dum-dums. I appreciate you for that love, Tim. Seriously, show some love to Tim down below. As well as Chloe with the $64. Chloe, you've been supporting me so much lately. Like, holy crap. Please show some love to Chloe in that goddamn chat. Chloe with the $64 says, it is my sister Lexi's birthday. Can you please say happy birthday to her? She loves you so much. Lexi, if you're watching, happy birthday to you. You and your sister are literally so fucking awesome. Thank you so much, Chloe. As well as Grace and Catherine, both with the $5 over on PayPal, and Natalie with the $5 on Venmo. If you're watching and you want to support me, you could support me over on Venmo and PayPal, which you can find in the link tree in my bio or in the pinned message of that YT stream. One thing I'd like to thank here as well, one last person I'd like to thank you as well is Nurse Ash. Thank you for the $20 on Super Chat over on YT. Show some love to Ash. Ash says y'all should read Kamala Harris's new book. She's not nearly as pro-Israel as y'all make her out to be. Maybe hear it from her. She also narrates the audiobook. It's fantastic. You know what, Ash? I actually will read her book. I'm going to buy that after my stream is over. I'm curious to see what she had to say about Palestine. But anyways, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Why would you not? There's many reasons. Well, there's more reasons too than there aren't.
I have many reasons to not support Trump as president. Would you like a paragraph why I don't support Trump, 4 paragraphs why I don't support Trump, or a 10-page research paper on why I don't support Trump? Your choice.
You asked me a question. Are you answering my question, or am I answering it?
Yeah, I'm going to answer your question. I just need this clarity first.
I got you. Well, I don't need you to give me any reason why you don't. You asked me a question, that's why I do. I said, why would I know? I answered your question.
Okay, right. And I know I want to explain to you why you shouldn't,
okay.
but I just need clarity on how long you want my explanation to be. Do you want my explanation on why you shouldn't support Trump to be a paragraph, 4 paragraphs, or a doctoral thesis essay?
You should give me an explanation as to why you support Biden, which actually never ran the country. He was just there for show. Give me an explanation as why that.
No, I'm going to give you an explanation on why you shouldn't support Trump.
Because you can. You can.
No, I'm just going to answer to what you first asked of why you shouldn't support Trump. That's only fair, right?
I mean, you speak all day. That's fine.
What if I just do both? Wait. What if I give you an explanation on why you shouldn't support Trump and why I supported Biden? Would you like that?
Go ahead.
Okay. How long would you like my explanation to be on why you shouldn't support Trump and why I supported Biden? A paragraph,
Brother,
4 paragraphs, or an essay?
Use your brain like as much as you need to.
Oh, as much as I need to?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to make sure I use it as to the max capacity because I think that you have a little ego and I'd like to humble you. So you've asked me 2 questions at this point, and you've suggested that I wouldn't be able to give you a response to either one. The 2 questions were, Dean, why shouldn't I support Trump? And Dean, why did you support Biden? We're going to go ahead and start with the first one insofar as why you shouldn't support Trump. I break it down into 3 categories: domestic policy, foreign policy, and character. We're going to go ahead and work our way back to front. So let's start with character. First and foremost, you shouldn't support Donald Trump as president because his character is abysmal. Not only is he an adjudicated 34-count felon in a criminal court, he's also an adjudicated rapist inside of a civil court. He's also a predator. In 2005, he went on Howard Stern's radio show and boasted about perving on the naked bodies of teens and women unconsensually when they had no clothes on in their dressing rooms at Miss Teen USA and Miss USA, respectively. He's also racist. In the 70s, he refused to rent his properties to black people, which then led to the New York State Justice Department pursuing civil litigation against him for doing so, in which he then agreed with the NY State Justice Department to start renting to black individuals and to put an ad in local newspapers saying that he would stop discriminating. He's also a racist because in the 90s, in 1991, he said that all black people are lazy, that affirmed that something that he said in 1997. And he's also a racist because when Obama was running for president, he perpetuated his birther myth, saying that Barack Obama was born in Africa. And then when Barack Obama released his birth certificate from Hawaii, he questioned the authentic nature of said birth certificate and continued to peddle the myth that he was still born in Africa. And the reason why he peddled that myth was attempt to get people to not vote for him, since you have to be born in this country to be eligible for the presidency, which would amount to attempting to deny a black man a job opportunity because they're a black man, which would be the reason he said he was born in Africa with no evidence. There's many other reasons why his character is piss poor terrible too. Point number 1, I mean, he was best friends with Epstein. Epstein, according to victims of Epstein, was always talking about how Donald Trump was his best friend and had a framed picture of him on his business desk and on his nightstand by his bed. And after Epstein was trafficking little girls and women in the 90s, Donald Trump in 2003 sent him a letter with the depiction of the outline of a naked woman, or in some cases, maybe even a naked girl, with the statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret." And today on the Epstein files, he is refusing to pull through on his promise to release them. He told the FBI to find his name anywhere in the files to flag and redact it. And now he's obstructing Congress from getting enough votes to release the files, or to force their release, by directing his Speaker of the House to delay the inauguration, quote unquote, of a new Congresswoman that just won an election in the 7th District of Arizona, who would be that final 218th vote to force the release of the files. Okay, and there's other character facts as well. I'm just going to try to quickly name them off so we can move on to the next category. The other character facts that concern me are being weird and creepy, like when he told a 10-year-old girl he'd be dating her in 10 years, which was sexualizing her, or when he agreed with Howard Stern when Howard Stern called his own daughter a hot piece of ass, or when he said that he'd be dating his daughter if she wasn't his daughter, or when he said you could just grab women by the P word, you don't even need to ask first, or when he told 30,000 confirmed lies in his first term and continues to perpetually lie about being the man of the year in Michigan 20 years back, saying that windmills cause lung cancer, or that vaccinating your children all at once is too much liquid. Now, We're going to go ahead and ignore the rest of his character. I could talk about that all day because I want to move on to the next two categories, domestic policy and foreign policy. Let's start with domestic policy. His domestic policy is atrocious. We're going to break it down into a couple categories, economics, immigration, and social policy. To start off with his economic policy, he is exploding the debt, exploding the deficit. His first 4 years, he spent $8.7 trillion, according to the CRBF. And so far in his second term, he's already spent $5 trillion, including the most expensive bill of all time, which was the Big Beautiful Bill, which cost $4.5 trillion, which included cuts to Medicaid of $900 billion, which kicked 10 million people off Medicaid, as well as $156 billion to food stamps that kicked 3 million people off of food stamps. And according to the CRBF, is doing a massive redistribution of wealth by reducing the purchasing power of every American that makes under $51,000 per year, while just giving more and more back to the ultra wealthy. There's his economic policy. Moving on to immigration policies. Immigration policy sucks. Mass deportation is a mess. According to the American Immigration Council, if we were to remove every undocumented immigrant from the country tomorrow, it would reduce our GDP by an estimated $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year. That's huge. Why? Because it'd be forcefully laying off 8.3 million of our workers and deporting 11 million of our consumers. And by the way, those workers pay $100 billion per year in taxes, which means over the next 10 years, not only would our GDP be shrinking, but our government revenue would be shrinking by $1 trillion. And not only would the government revenue be shrinking, but our government's going to be spending more of the lower amount of revenue that we would still have on the $2 trillion mass deportation operation as expensed and projected once again, not only by the American Immigration Council, but also the Congressional Budget Office that is ran by partisan Republicans. So there's why his immigration policy sucks on an economic level. It also sucks humanitarianly and authoritarianly. He is violating both the human and constitutional rights of undocumented immigrants. Let's first look at Abrigo Garcia, who he illegally deported to Sica in El Salvador. And while he spent 3 months there, he lost 30 pounds. He testified to being beaten and tortured by the guards. And then once our Supreme Court ruled that his removal was illegal and that the Trump administration had to bring him home, the Trump administration said, hell no. And then Nayib Bukele, the prime minister of El Salvador, testified to the UN that America was in charge of the treatment of their detainees in CCOT, meaning that Trump was the one doing it all. And that's just the start. He also detained illegal immigrants like Mahmoud Khalil in ICE detention centers for 3 months, even though they had all their paperwork, and then was illegally deporting other immigrants, such as the planes loads of Venezuelan immigrants who he deported without due process against the withholding order of a judge, once again to CCOT in El Salvador, or the college students that he was black bagging and taking to ICE detention centers 1,000 miles away, violating the orders of a judge, or the 510 confirmed human rights violations on behest of ICE agents in the last 8 months, according to Senate reports. Now to move on to his social policy. His social policy is atrocious too, starting off with his directive to SCOTUS in his first term to overturn Roe v. Wade, to rescind federal protections for women and girls' right to choose access to abortion, which now today has resulted in 60 victims of grape who were impregnated by the grape being denied access to abortion in 10 of our 50 states that are now allowed to ban it because of Trump, on top of the 66 million American women and girls who don't have access to elective abortions in all 50 states, in my mind, amounting to a human rights violation, as that said, pro-life policies infringing on their bodily autonomy without any good reason. All right, so there's his domestic policy. We're going to keep it short there. Moving on to the third category, foreign policy. It is atrocious. It is a mess. Pew Research data tells us that people elsewhere around the globe, particularly in Europe, were 3 times more confident in Kamala Harris's leadership than Trump. Why? It is because Donald Trump is a crazy, delusional, senile old man who can't make up his mind, and that's why he imposed tariffs, took them back, reimposed them, took them back, upped them on one country, reduced them on another, and are creating new geopolitical alliances between countries like India and China by imposing 50% tariffs on India, and causing 23 countries around around the world to stop all small parcel shipments into America, detesting his leadership and demonstrating that we have no true alliances. Now, I also don't like his foreign policy because, well, he turned around to Putin prior to the election, said, we're going to be your lapdog. If I win, we're going to defund Ukraine. And that's exactly what he did. And when he defunded Ukraine, he said that this will help me in peace talks and get me to stop Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It backfired in his fucking face. Putin then rejected the peace talks. It emboldened them to only hit Ukraine harder because it weakened Ukraine. And if you look at the data, Russia has dropped the most missiles they ever have on Ukraine since Donald Trump's second administration begun. And it was such a blunder of Trump's to defund Ukraine that literally yesterday he went on Truth Social and he said that we are now supporting Ukraine all the way. We've resumed all funding. Putin isn't being cooperative. And although I like that from Trump, guess what? Kamala Harris was telling us this all during the election. So we could have skipped the 9 months of nonsense if we voted for her. I think I'm at like 10 to 15 minutes now of telling you exactly why you shouldn't support Trump as president. I'll stop there for now. Go ahead.
Did you take a second to breathe through that process at all? You were extremely red.
Circular breathing, my friend.
Yeah. I lost a few brain cells listening to you speak. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk about gun violence. Because you brought that up. Do you own a firearm?
So you're telling me
No,
that I just, yes,
you own a firearm.
I do.
You
So you're
do?
telling
Okay.
me that I just
So-
spoke, one moment. You're telling me that I just spoke
Yes,
for
I'm telling
10 to 15 minutes about
Yes.
nearly every reason why you shouldn't support Trump as president. And you want to talk about one thing that I didn't bring up in that 10 to 15 minutes. You have so many different ways you could respond to my 10 to 15 minute yap. I'm not going to blame you if you choose like one out of the 100 things to
that's why I
respond
came
to and
up here. I
hyperfixate
don't
on
care
that.
about
That's
any-
fine. But I will blame you if you ignore everything I just said that probably cost me like 450 calories and a couple gray hairs to talk about something completely new. I literally
No.
gave you like
the only thing I cared about was
100
gun
different
violence.
topics that you could talk about.
Bro, I only came up here to talk about gun violence. That's the only thing I care about. That's literally the only thing I come up here to talk about. When I tuned in, you were talking about gun violence. So that's why I'm talking to you.
So you're going to ignore that all? You don't care about any of that?
I didn't come up here to talk about any of that. I came up here to talk about gun violence.
So then why did you ask me why you shouldn't support Trump?
You asked me a question, and I referenced the question back to you.
I know. Why?
Well, I wanted to know why you didn't.
Okay, and I told you why I didn't.
Okay, yeah, that's irrelevant. But you answered
Wait,
the
if it was
question.
irrelevant, then why did you ask?
It was referring back to why you don't. I wanted to know
Oh,
why.
I know, but now you're saying the reasons why I don't support Trump and you shouldn't
Yeah.
either are completely irrelevant?
No, I'm not. It's irrelevant to my question.
No, it wasn't irrelevant to your question because that was your question.
No, my question is
No,
what's
your
wrong?
question was, why shouldn't I support Trump? That was what you asked me, and I told you. A billion reasons, literally. Not metaphorically.
Well, that was
literally
actually
a billion
rhetorical
reasons.
question. I didn't need you to lose 10 brain cells while not breathing while talking.
So
Well,
now
it
you're
was-
telling
it was rhetorical.
so now you're telling me that you didn't actually want an answer?
No, I really didn't care. I waste your energy.
So you don't care.
wait, hold on.
Well, 1 second. You don't care about the 1 billion reasons that I just gave, ranging
No.
from Donald Trump being a predator, rapist,
Not
fascist,
at all.
wannabe authoritarian, to his
Nope.
terrible economic policy, to his terrible immigration policy, to his terrible foreign policy, to his terrible geopolitical policy, to his terrible social policy. You
Bro,
don't care?
I'm trying to save you energy. I'm telling you, no.
you
I
don't care about any of those things?
No, none. Just gun violence. That's why I'm telling you. Let's talk about gun violence. I don't care about your 100 hours that you just wasted trying to explain to me why you don't support him. I really don't care.
Okay.
I want to talk about gun violence.
So I have a question. If you don't care about Donald Trump's social policy, if you don't care about Donald Trump's economic
I told
policy,
you no.
shut the hell up, go on mute. If you don't care about Donald Trump's social policy, if you don't care about Donald Trump's economic policy, if you don't care about Donald Trump's immigration policy, if you don't care about Donald Trump's foreign policy, if you don't care about Donald Trump's character, then what the fuck do you care about? I think
violence.
that's a good question because honestly, everyone watching knows that is the biggest like cop out of all time. You like obviously do care about those things. The only reason why you're saying you don't care is so you don't have to give them a response. And when I say everyone knows that, I mean everyone, not just the liberals watching the live right now. I know for damn sure every Trump supporter tuned in right now is looking at you and cringing, saying, "Ew, bro, you're representing our side of the aisle so bad." But regardless of that, if you don't care about any of these things, tell me specifically what you do care about that makes you support Trump by answering the question over my head.
Immigration.
That was one of the things that you just said you didn't care about.
I don't care about to talk about it. The only thing I'm not saying I don't care about it. What I'm saying is I don't care to talk about it. I don't want to debate that. What I want to debate is gun violence.
Okay, well, what is it? Can you read that for us?
Right.
Read it, like literally read it out loud.
Read it for me. What does it say?
You can't read that?
Read it for me.
You can't read that? Just,
I can, but read it for me.
well, I asked you to read it.
Okay, well, we both can read. Yes,
So
I
read
know what
that.
it says. Go ahead. Listen, I'm not going to play childish games. Let's talk about gun violence. That's what you were talking about. That's what I want to talk about.
Wait,
if you don't want to talk about gun violence,
Sir.
because I'm fixing to set your whole analogy
Sir.
to a whole different level, because
Sir.
what you just
Sir.
stated
Sir.
earlier about gun violence makes zero sense.
You have your feet in concrete. You are just being so dense.
Okay, do you want to talk about gun
impossible
violence
with
or
me.
not? Do you want to talk about gun violence
You're
or not?
being dense and impossible with me. Read that. I'm being serious.
Seriously, do you want to talk about gun violence or not?
Sir, you have 5 seconds to begin reading this before I kick you. 5,
Bro,
4,
go
3,
fuck yourself.
2, 1, and I'm going to kick you, and we're going to move on to the next guest. Okay, well, he was just obliterated. He was just obliterated. I have to say, that was probably my most brutal shutdown ever. Just completely obliterated. Oh my God. He got pushed. He came up here telling me, "Dean, can you tell me why I shouldn't support Trump as president?" I talk for 15 minutes. He responds by saying that he doesn't care about anything I talked about. And then I'm like, "So why do you support Trump?" And he's like, "Immigration policy." Then I'm like, "Well, that's one of the things I just talked about that you said you didn't care about." And he's like, "Oh, that's right. I don't care about it." Wow. Dude. Oh my God, that was brutal. Okay, we're going to move on to the next guest. That was so fucking brutal. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up in here. Hop in that queue of Yabba to be MAGA. We'll get you connected. Attack on Pony, I appreciate you for the $10 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love. Show some love to Attack on Pony down below. There's quite a few donations that I need to read off that I literally haven't been able to read off because, as I just said, I just yapped for 15 minutes naming almost every reason why you shouldn't support Trump. But let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up in here. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that does indeed support Donald Trump as president. So fucking brutal. Holy cow. Do be patient while we're getting that next guest up here. What's up? Do you support Trump? Hello? Joel, are you here? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to respond. Okay. All right. Joel's not here. Go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you do want to come up. Right now, we have over 17,000 people tuned into that TikTok live. And the funniest part is out of the 17,000 people tuned in, we can't find one person to debate. Holy cow. Hey, Brad, I appreciate you for the $10 over on Venmo saying keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Brad. Show some love to Brad down below. And then by Axelot, thank you for the $15 saying my girlfriend and I cannot stand Trump supporters because of their hypocrisy. Do us a favor, Dean. Speak facts, bro. Spit your shit indeed. I appreciate that. Shout out to By Axelot and their girlfriend. Thank you so much for the love. Well, what's up, 11? Do you support Trump as president?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
33.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and tell us why you support Trump.
It could be considered a little bit selfish, but when I was viewing, when I was looking at the polls and I saw sort of the dualities that we have when it comes to the financial world, I'd been a crypto investor for a long time. And it is selfish, but the majority of the reason why I supported Trump was because of the policies around that specific technology. A lot of what the Biden administration and Kamala were trying to do is sort of take away the ability for people to invest in cryptocurrencies and allow for that innovation to sort of proliferate around North America as a whole. And that was kind of the deciding factor for me.
Yeah, well, you just
I
said about the
understand.
Biden-Harris administration wasn't true. So their issue with crypto wasn't wanting to like regulate the shit out of it. Their issue with crypto is actually that they didn't push enough regulation. So then people didn't know like if the FCC was going to fine or attempt to sue them or not. And then even about like the crypto policy that's passed into the Trump administration, it's been bipartisan.
Yes.
Like the Genius Act was driven by 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans.
Yes, factual. But let me just ask you a question.
Right, and that was
when
bound,
it comes to
so
your
even if Kamala
objective-
Harris won the election, I still think that something like the Genius Act would have passed because, like, seriously, like those invested in crypto needed it.
Do you genuinely think that if Kamala Harris would have won politically, that the innovation and the amount of support around Web 3.0 and crypto would be as aggressive as it is today?
Yeah,
do you really
because
truly
the Genius
believe
Act
that?
was bipartisan. Listen, if the Genius
But
Act
the
wasn't,
Genius Act-
if-
but the
if
Genius Act is like
Act-
2% of
if
the
the
things that
Genius
have
Act wasn't
happened.
bipartisan, then I wouldn't say that.
But what about all the other acts and all the other
Like
things
what?
that took place? All the different. Let's talk about like all the different states that were kind of pushing to have Bitcoin.
Wait, now you're not talking about things that Trump has
regulation
done.
and re-regulation.
Now you're not talking about things that Trump has done.
Why?
Because you, why? What?
Did
what
that
you're
start with the? Did that start?
No.
With the
No,
Liberal Party?
so you said that the Genius Act is just a little amount of like the stuff that Donald Trump has done that has been like pro crypto. So what are the other things that Donald Trump has done that are pro crypto?
What about all the other different states that
No,
specifically?
you're not answering my question.
Got it.
My question is, what are the other things that Donald Trump has done for crypto outside of the Genius Act?
Just trying to make it more mainstream around the entire nation, right?
How?
When it comes to supporting it by launching a company called World Liberty Financial, essentially
he didn't launch it; he just invested in it.
he created it.
No,
What do you mean?
he invested
We're,
in it.
we're Liberty Financial with his son, like
No.
with the entire Trump administration.
That was created in October of 2024, before his administration even begun.
But don't you think that his okay? It's fine, Burke. Instead of taking this platform and having these aggressive debates with people that may be unintelligent, why don't you kind of remove that from your platform and kind of try to help both sides sort of see eye to eye in a line instead of creating more hatred between the red and the blue? I genuinely think that
you just talked about
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah, I did because
so do you
it's
think that
such a
Charlie Kirk was like an
saddening
American
thing.
icon?
I don't care to think if he was an American icon.
Well, I mean,
no,
do-
I don't. I think that he was used as a puppet to further
Do you think
create
that Charlie
more
Kirk
division.
was like a really good person?
No, I think he had his.
Right.
I think he had his own opinions.
Right, because,
I'm-
because what I was about to say is it's funny that you're telling me that like I'm like
Yeah.
I shouldn't be doing these like debates. Because,
No,
like, there's-
I think that you add to
if
the
you'll allow me to
problem.
finish. I shouldn't be doing
Yes.
these debates because like they're too divisive and cause too much of a problem. But then like you support Charlie Kirk, who wasn't just like debating, but was like actively spewing hatred. Like, and then talk about him as if he's like a good person that's on the right side of history. That was unreal. And also, you're telling me that I'm a part of the problem because I want free discourse. You should really evaluate what that problem is. Because I think the only problem that what we do here amounts to is a problem for the Trump administration. Because I can definitively prove to anyone that is willing to come up here and entertain a conversation with me why Donald Trump is a terrible president on the wrong side of history that no one should support. That's the only problem I am. And it is to them and to you because you've chosen to be on that wrong side of history. And by the way, if you disagree, prove me wrong. That's kind of the point of these streams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that mindset right there, that I'm on the wrong side of humanity, is what makes you wrong and arrogant in
I
thinking
said
that.
history. Why are you changing my words?
You're telling me that I'm on the wrong side of politics
Yeah, I am.
because I support Trump.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but don't you understand the dissonance that happens on humanity as a whole, where if you focus so much on one side and you try to convince more people in a mass population how they're wrong, you only add to the problem. You only create more division in your country.
So I'm
right?
just, I'm just supposed to let you be wrong?
Yeah, but why is it wrong?
But see,
Being
the thing is
wrong
that your wrongness
objective.
causes harm, right? Like, see, like the reason why you're wrong is because you think that supporting a
Do you know
president-
how much harm the
Okay,
Democratic
I was in the
parties
middle-
have caused?
I was in the middle of my
Sorry,
sentence.
Okay, sorry, but you did the same thing to me though, Dean.
You're right. I think I have interrupted you a handful
You
of
interrupt
times.
a lot.
How about we try to not interrupt one another? I'm down with that.
Yes, 100%.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Then I'm gonna finish my sentence. You just told me
Please.
that I should just ignore you and let you be wrong. I couldn't fundamentally disagree to a deeper level, because the thing is your wrongness is incredibly harmful, right? You're not just wrong about a minuscule opinion that we should ignore. You're wrong about the direction this country should be heading in. You are actively supporting somebody, like for instance, who passed policy to take healthcare away from 10 million Americans, when we already have 40 through 60,000 Americans who die every single year via lack of access to healthcare. Meaning that the fact his big beautiful bill took that healthcare away from 10 million more is only going to result in more innocent people losing their lives. Okay? I am not going to ignore you, and I'm not going to sit here and let you be quote unquote wrong when your wrongness is so harmful to so many people.
Okay, fair. Have you looked at what the other side looks like though? Like when you talk about like Trump taking away all this healthcare, it's also a part of the problem because of the machine that we're in the U.S., right? We talk about there being no cure for cancer and the involvement, and he's taking away healthcare, but I'm sorry, I'm jumbling a little bit, but what I'm trying to say is that the liberal parties, the Democratic parties, they want to maintain the populace more controlled and less independent and more reliant on the system and the government. That's my big problem with the policies, where it's like you can talk about how Trump's taking away this and taking away that, but the Democratic parties want people to rely more on them and on the system. You look at healthcare, look at the rates of obesity.
Can you give me one policy that Kamala Harris ran on in the 2024 election that demonstrates your point to be clearly true?
I can't quote anything specific. I'm not as politically educated. Yeah. Yes. Sure. Is it a big problem though?
Because you're trying to
listen. You're a smart guy.
You're telling me that like the policy of the left is so harmful for like these reasons, right? But then when I ask you what policy, you can't tell me.
And I agree with you. That can be a flaw in my ability to argue and debate. But I'm trying to speak from a more bigger picture of humanity when it comes to how we have these specific platforms and we don't use them to create more cohesion in society.
Well,
we do it to have these debates.
Right? You could actually choose to use my platform and the information that I spread to create and be a part of said cohesion, but instead you rather opt to continue in your willful ignorance in support of the bad, right? Like honestly, dude. Like my stream, it does create cohesion. It creates cohesion of the good. It creates cohesion of the rational, and it creates cohesion of the facts, right? But you can't like engage with these facts, and you are instead choosing to remain willfully ignorant and dead set in your ways. Like for instance, what did we just talk about? You told us that you think that the policies of the left are harmful, right? Because they create all these bad things. I'm not even like sure what the bad things you were talking about. And I was like, okay, what policies? And you couldn't name one. So does that mean that you no longer hold to that original view since you cannot clarify the policies in which you believe to be harmful?
No, I guess my true objective is to listen, because you're intelligent, you seem...
I'm going to move on to the next guest just because you're telling me that I can't change your mind even though I make it clear that you have no reason to believe in what you do and you were just kind of whining. So let's go and get that next guest loaded up in here. There's no point to that. What's up? How old are you?
What's up? I'm doing good. I'm not super politically, informed. I'm a college student.
How old are you?
But I feel like I still have a decent idea of like the world.
Okay. What is your age? How old are you?
19.
Okay. And do you support Trump as president?
I support him as a president, but not necessarily as a person. From my perspective, it comes as like there's one bad and then there's like a bigger bad.
Okay, we're going to have that conversation. Now, quickly before we do, there's a handful of people I'd like to thank for their love. Baria, thank you for the $5 over on Super Chat. I appreciate you for the love, Baria. As well as Catherine, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much, Catherine. Catherine says, what the fuck, he's criticizing rather than answering any questions? Are you talking about the guest before the last? Because if so, that dude was dudes. as well as Attack on Pony. Once again, I appreciate you for the 10. I'd also like to thank Emily for the $10 on Venmo, saying thank you for all the difficult and amazing work that you're doing in the world. My daughter and I appreciate you and all the critical conversations that you're having. Thank you so much. Shout out to Emily and Emily's daughter. You guys are awesome. As well as Jamie and Dale, I appreciate you both for the $5. Maddie with the $5 as well, and Carmen, with $5. And then one big one here, Deanna. Thank you so much for the $100 donation over on Venmo. Deanna, that is fucking insane. Their name is spelled Deana. Thank you so much for the $100. I do not deserve that. That is literally so much money. $100 from Deanna with a message here. Keep debating and converting MAGA. Deanna, I'm never going to stop. I love what I do too much. And I appreciate you so much for your insane kindness. Thank you so much. As well as Emma, thank you for the $13 on PayPal, saying, hey, Dean, I'm from England. Well, shout out to you and shout out to England. Appreciate you for being here. All the love in the world to Emma. And then Kendall with a $15 on PayPal, saying, longtime fan. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Kendall. Show some love to Kendall in the chat. And then Nelly with the $5. I appreciate everyone so much for the love. If you're watching, you want to support me, you want to support what we do here, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok. Get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms. They go straight to me, and I get a notification on the top of my phone where I could even read your name and any and all attached messages. You could also find them in the pinned message over on YouTube. But anyways, go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump as president.
For me, I already said I don't follow politics that much. I only really know the immigration policy and that stuff and the gun policies. Those are the main ones that I agree with. And I just can't really agree with the left.
Okay, you were it sounds like you kind of have like a candy bar wrapper, being dragged onto the speaker of your phone.
Is that better?
It is. Okay, so you support Donald Trump because of his immigration and gun policy, then you can't get down with the left. So tell me, what immigration policy of Trump's do you support, and what gun policy of Trump's do you support?
Just deporting illegals. I feel like that's just the word illegal, I feel like is already kind of, if it's illegal, then why is that a problem to get rid of them?
Okay, you're still doing something with your phone. Could you please stop it?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
Is it better now?
So you're telling us that you think that you support the mass deportation because it is removing people from the country that have broken the law?
What?
You're telling me that you support mass deportation because it's removing people from the country that have broken the law?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, I mean, if you just think that an individual should be deported from the country because they committed a misdemeanor, then why don't you think that Donald Trump should at the bare minimum be impeached from the White House because he's committed 34 felonies and been held civilly liable for grape?
Well, I personally cannot convict him or any of that, so that's up to the government. So,
well, I mean, I'm saying, would you support that? Would you support him being removed from the White House because he's committed 34 felonies, just like you're telling me you support people being removed from the country because they've committed a single misdemeanor?
Sure.
Okay, so that means that you no longer support Trump as president. Everyone in the comment section is
spamming. Wait.
Everyone in the comment section.
Who should I support?
One second. You guys are spamming. You guys are spamming first video. His first video is literally him and some woman playing in a parking lot. I don't see any problem with that. But anyways, this guy doesn't support Trump as president. We're gonna move on to the next guest just because he said that he'd support his removal. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. The newest one? Oh, okay. The newest one. See, I misinterpreted that. Apparently it wasn't his first video, it's his newest video. What's up, Matthew? Do you support Trump as president?
Hello?
Hi, are you MAGA?
Yeah, I'm at Food Lion too because I love Donald Trump.
What did you just say?
I'm at Food Lion because I love Donald Trump.
At Food Lion? I'm not hearing you.
I'm at Food Lion because I love Donald. You don't know what Food Lion is?
No, what is that?
Oh, okay. That's kind of weird that you don't know what Food Lion is.
I'm from Colorado. Whatever that is, we don't have it here. You got a bit of background noise, so unfortunately we're going to move on to the next guest just because I have these big old headphones on and I can't hear you nor myself over that background noise. It is blaringly loud in my ears, so I can't think right. But let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump. Go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you do want to come up. And what the hell's Food Lion? Is that what is that? You guys should tell me. I'm just curious. Food Lion. Interesting. Okay. Moving on to the next guest right now. We got our next guest connecting right now. Go ahead and put Trump with the Rage down below in that comment section and we'll get you connected. Sophie, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo saying, keep being you. I appreciate that, Sophie. As well, Sandra with the $10 saying, I need to hear you today. Well, guess what? We're going to be live for 4 hours. Thank you so much, Sandra and Sophie. You guys are awesome. And then Caleb with a 5, Jessica with a 5, and Ashton with a 5. Thank you guys so much for the love. What is up? Do you support Trump as president?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
What year are you born in?
07.
And what time is it?
Huh?
What time is it?
5:30.
What state are you in?
5:30.
What state are you in? They left? Okay. They were not American. We are only looking to talk to Americans, folks. We're only looking to talk to Americans, folks. Hey, Emma, thank you so much for the $22 over on PayPal. 1 second, Cade. Emma with the $22. Show some love to Emma down below. What's that, Cade?
You good?
Okay. Emma with the $22 says, hey, Dean, I'm a silent watcher for like a month now, and I wanted to thank you. My aunt died Thursday, and I wanted to thank you for the distraction you offer in your life. It's a hard time, but I wish you all the love. Greetings from Germany. Emma, I'm really sorry to hear about the passing of your aunt, and I'm really happy that my lives can serve as a distraction for you. I've actually been at periods of my life going through some pretty rough stuff, and the lives have helped me as well just by distracting me. And I'm just really happy, that the streams can help, seriously. And I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your aunt. Show some love to Emma down below. Cade, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, what year are you born in?
2007. I just turned 18 like a couple of days ago.
Very nice, Cade. And do you support Trump as president?
Yes.
Awesome. As well as Cammie, thank you for the $10 on PayPal saying Food Lion is a grocery store. We finally figured it out. Thank you, Cammie. Take it away. Why do you support Trump?
I think when my parents was struggling when Biden was in office, it was bad. It just sucks, man. But when Trump's back in office, the economy is doing great, in my opinion.
The economy's actually only gotten worse in the last 8 months.
Oh, it is?
Unemployment's up, inflation's up, GDP growth is down, investment in business is down. There's literally nothing about our economy that's functioning better today than it was in January.
Oh, damn. Hey, man. Hey, I just want to say God bless you, bro, because your streams are fun as hell, bro.
You know what? I appreciate that, Katie. You should really stop supporting Trump, though. We're gonna move on to the next guest. I don't think he's 18. I don't think he's 18. Let's get that next guest up here. What's up, man? You support Trump? Hello? That's funny. All right, Eric's not here. Banned. Moving on to the next guest, we got AJ connecting. If you are watching and you like what we do here and you'd like to support me, you could support me on Venmo and PayPal, which you could find in the link tree in the bio. But let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. Okay. AJ's not connecting. Goodbye. Get banned. Moving on to the next guest. Go to put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you do want to connect. Let's go. Hell yeah. What's up, Crandy Smith? What a name. Do you support Trump?
Ni hao, niggers.
And
Last
you were
word.
banned. Let's go ahead and find that next guest and get them loaded up in here. Hop in that queue if you happen to be a Trump supporter. We got Midwest Billy MAGA for life. Here we go. All right, everyone, just do be patient. What is up, Billy? Do you support Trump as president?
What's up? Yeah, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
22.
Okay, and what year were you born in?
2003.
Okay, all right, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
I support Trump because of the Space Force.
What?
Because of the Space Force.
Okay, listen. Donald Trump has consequentially hurt America a lot in many ways. So I'd assume if you support him as president, you'd have an argument that he's consequentially helped America a lot in many ways. I agree the Space Force is cool, but I don't think something being cool is enough to warrant supporting somebody who is wasting trillions of dollars on a wealth redistribution from the poor to the rich and destroying our economy in the process, for instance.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's like America's shield, and he's pretty much proven to everyone, because a lot of people are trying to lie and say that he's a communist, and he's not. He's proven that he's anti-communist because he's going up against China and Russia with the Space Force. China's got 400 spy satellites tracking our soldiers, and Trump's not going to let that happen.
What is communism?
a classless, stateless society.
A classless, stateless.
And it can be authoritarian, but I mean,
you just said that it's
like
a stateless, classless, moneyless society. I'm so sorry. Russia and China, are they states?
they are. Yeah, they're not communist, but
I thought you said that he was proving that he's not communist by going against communist states like Russia or China.
because a lot of people who don't really know what those definitions are, they just go around saying, "Oh, communism. Oh, everything's communism."
So you support Trump as president because of the Space Force. So what is the Space Force specifically doing that makes him the best president ever?
Yeah, it's just cool.
Okay, I agree. The Space Force is kind of cool. I thought I already went over how like the Space Force being kind of cool isn't enough reason to support a fascist as president.
He's pro-capital.
He's pro-capital? Could I get more than 3 words out of you? Could you expand on that view?
He's not going to let communism into our country.
He's going to prevent our country from becoming communist? Do you think he's going to prevent our country from becoming authoritarian?
Probably not.
So you would prefer authoritarianism?
Yeah, I guess not.
Okay, I'm going to remove you from the live now. Have a good one, though. Just super confusing. When my guests are confused, they make me confused, and I don't like being confused. So we're going to remove him and move on to the next guest. He was very confused. That's a fact. Go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section if you'd like to come up and have a conversation with me about why you support Trump as president. We're going to go to get that next guest connected right now. Cameron, thank you for the $5 on Venmo saying I'm running for Colorado for dim governor because our candidates are pro-Israel right now. Carmen, really? That's pretty cool. I'm going to check you out. Awesome. What's up? Do you support Trump?
No, but I did just want to say.
I'm sorry. I do have to remove you just because we're only looking to talk to Trump supporters. I hope that you have an awesome rest of your day, though, quite frankly. Brianna, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Saying recently started watching. I get flustered when debating.
Stop vaping. Stop vaping.
You know what?
Stop vaping.
Mason,
Stop.
I like that energy. You keep it up, bud. You keep it up. I can't be mad. I can't be mad. Your parents are doing an all right job. Okay? Your parents are doing an all right job. You should. Yeah. Don't vape, Mason. Don't do it.
Finally.
Hello? Hit the nail on its head. Good W, kid. W.
Hello.
Kid. What's up? Do you support Trump as president?
You can hear me?
I can. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think would have been a better fit president?
Take a guess.
All right. Well, since Kamala Harris was assigned the border option whenever she was a vice president, look at how she's done. That just goes to show what she did whenever she really was president.
I'm going to challenge that notion. I don't think that she was assigned anything to do with the border.
Look it up.
Well, I did. She was assigned a duty to do with immigration. Do you know what that duty was?
What was the duty?
It was to work diplomatically with Southern Latin American countries to attempt to fix their socioeconomic conditions, to reduce the incentive for immigration.
Well, she couldn't even fix ours, so...
Actually, her and Biden did better than the leadership of any other country in the G7. We just spammed the N-word and left. Okay, let's go to get that next guest up in here. Hop in that queue if you happen to be a Trump supporter. By the way, I just want to re-point it out that there's over 20,000 people watching this stream right now. Over 20,000 people. Over 20,000 people. Look at how badly these people are representing MAGA. If you are on the right and you're maybe teeter-tottering a little, maybe you're independent leaning Trump, I really hope that these people are making you radically left. Because these are the people that support Trump as president. All day long, we haven't had one person come up here and give a consistent, coherent position to argue why Donald Trump is a good president. In fact, not a single guest all day has even come close to achieving that goal. Instead, we've just had nonsense and slurs, right? Keep that in mind, folks, because that is the side that you are agreeing with. If anything should push you out of MAGA, I would hope it would be that, because those are your brothers and sisters in arms. Brianna, once again, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate you for the kindness. As well as Richard, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you, Richard. Let's get 200 Richard W's in both of those live chats. Richard says, thank you for being a verbal warrior. Richard, that is very kind of you, and I appreciate you for your love and support. As well as... I'm going to call you I. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Saying, hey, Dean, I just wanted to thank you for what you do. Thank you so much, I. Show some love to I. And Ramona with the $8, and I think your up dog might be broken. What's up, dog? What's up, dog? Oh, shit, you got me. Go ahead and take it away, user. Do you support Trump?
Who would win in a tickle fight, you or Michelle Obama?
I'm pretty ticklish, so probably Michelle Obama. Well, assuming that she's not ticklish, but it's a weird thought. Get the hell out of the stream. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Not here. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just do be patient. Go ahead and hop in that queue of you support Trump as president. Going to put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section. We're going to get that next guest loaded up in here right now. We got Ryan connecting to the stream. What's up? Do you support Trump? Ryan, I'm going to give you 5 seconds here.
6, 7.
Okay, moving on to Bowman. Here we go. Is there any adults? Hi, Bowman. Are you an adult that supports Trump?
Hi, nice to meet you, Dean. Just real quick, I'm kind of leaning, how you said earlier, is between left and right here. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I've never considered myself left or right or Democrat or Republican. And I kind of wanted your opinion on something real quick because I'm a recent college graduate. I just turned 25 years old, or I'm going to turn 25 years old. I'm struggling a little bit trying to find another job. And it's mainly because I have my own kind of theories based on the whole what's happening with businesses and why the unemployment rate for graduates is steadily declining. A lot of people do blame Trump, but I don't think I'm really one of those people. And I just kind of wanted your opinion on that so we can talk about it.
Well, I just think that Donald Trump is bad for the job market as a whole. I think that the subpar, below expected job reports that we've been getting every month from the BLS prove that. Long-term unemployment is at its highest rate since 2017, excluding the pandemic, and every other macroeconomic variable seems to be following that same negative trend. So I'm unsure if Donald Trump is doing anything specific to disproportionately negatively impact college graduates, but he's hurting the job market as a whole, and that's very meaningful.
Yeah, I do kind of agree that in a sense he is definitely hurting the job market. Me personally, I've definitely heard that he's affecting the job market necessarily by creating fake jobs, which he has definitely created a lot of fake, job positions, like let's say intergovernment and whatnot. However, I don't think it has anything to do with the actual corporations. Like just to give you an example, I actually just got rejected a job offer from ADP. And, not to put my business out there, but essentially people believe that Trump is the reason that the job market as such is that it's going so low, mainly because
like I said, he's just putting downward pressure on the job market. He's not helping it, and he's hurting it.
100%. But I still don't necessarily believe that the president, essentially, especially Trump, isn't necessarily the reason why the job market goes so low. I do think it is a bigger priority, as if the right is the cause of it. But I also think the left definitely had a bigger rise of it. Don't get me wrong. I loved Obama as a president.
Wait, I'm just confused. I just kind of want to go back to the bare bones here. So do you support Trump as president or not?
I'm, as of recently, no.
Okay. Because of that, I'm going to move on to the next guest.
That's cool. Appreciate you, Dean.
Before I move on, I will say one thing to you. Donald Trump has been applying downward pressure on the job market. He's not good for jobs. Okay. Why is he not good for jobs? Well, he is defunding systems that help individuals get jobs, like Medicaid and food stamps. And you may listen to me say that he's defunding these systems and how they help people get jobs. Well, they do, because Medicaid keeps low-income Americans healthier. And when people are healthier, they're better able to work. And food stamps work as a social mobility jump pad to launch individuals from low-income brackets to median and high-income brackets. And that's a proven empirical outcome of them. Not to mention his tariffs on all imports, which led to our GDP going down in the first quarter, and 52% of S&P 500s reporting lower profit margins in Q2. That's leading to a reduction in business investment and subpar performance from the market, which of course is going to lead to subpar performance for American jobs.
Would you say that's redundant though, considering let's say Obamacare or anything that was been risen over the Biden administration and whatnot?
What?
I know you're saying that Medicaid and whatnot is, with the big beautiful bill coming in, stopping them and whatnot. I would argue still that the left doesn't necessarily keep that in mind either, considering rather than help fund things like Medicaid and whatnot, they implement their own prodigies like most famously known as Obamacare, which I personally didn't think was
Obamacare
the best
just
idea.
expanded access to Medicaid.
It expanded it, yeah, but it also kind of, I want to say, made it a little more difficult.
How?
Well, just essentially like in the concept of adding more steps. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was a bad idea.
What steps?
Like just very literally, like literally creating more steps. Like insurance is already such a huge.
And I'm asking like literally what steps?
Essentially the process to get to Obamacare and to get to Medicaid.
What process? Like what did it add to the process, like specifically?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I can't list specifics, but essentially in the specific the steps to get to Obamacare.
Why should I believe you if you can't give me specifics? Because in
I'm not saying you have to believe
you're just
me.
not giving me reason to believe that you're right.
Oh no, I don't want to like, try to like, say you're wrong or anything about this. That is essentially because
I want you to say that I'm wrong because that's what a debate is.
No, I know that. And if anything, I just wanted to get your opinion on the whole job thing because, again, like I say, I'm not left or right. Definitely not right, essentially, as of recent. But I can tell that, you're definitely uninterested in what I'm saying. But, I really don't want to waste any more of your time. If anything, I appreciate you taking your time to talk to me and giving me your opinion about that. And I wish you the absolute best, dude. I really love what you're doing.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, man. You have a good rest of your day. Let's go to move on to the next Trump supporter, guys. Please make sure if you find yourself in the queue that you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. It has been maybe 40 minutes since our last debate with an American adult that supports Trump as president. It's seriously been 40 minutes. We have over 16,000 people watching the live. Why has it been 40 minutes since one of the 16,000 people came up here and debated me on why they support Trump? I think that MAGA is extinct and that all the support for MAGA is manufactured. And if I was wrong, I feel like we'd just be finding Trump supporters out the ass, I would not be struggling to find one person that supports the president. Like imagine that you were like sitting in front of a football stadium that has a capacity of 100,000 people. And it was like 20% full. Maybe the full student section was filled. And you were on a mic standing in front of the full student section, and you were like, stand up if you support President Trump. And the student section is just completely random. And then no one stood up. That would mean that Donald Trump is like basically no support. And that's like kind of the way I'm looking at the stream right now, man. I'm telling you to come up onto the stream if you're an American adult that supports Trump, and we can't find anyone in 40 minutes. That is wicked. What's up, Sierra? Do you support Trump?
I do.
All right, Sierra. How old are you?
31.
Awesome. Monica, thank you for the 10 euros on Super Chat asking if I like celery. I don't think I do. I'd also like to thank Rachel. Thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Thank you, Rachel. Can you sometimes talk about how we can help talk to moderates who aren't crazy cult MAGA but still tend to vote red because of abortion, LGBTQ+, and other social issues? I need some help with talking points, not for extreme MAGA. Yeah, Rachel, like specifically what? Like I could give you some insight. And thank you for the $25. Let's get 250 Rachel W's in that chat. And then once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pinned message of that YouTube stream. But go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump as president. Sierra.
Hi. First things first, I want to say I really respected your view when something happened back on September 10th. I thought that was really admirable. But I support him for a lot of reasons. One is illegal immigration. I don't think it should be a thing.
Okay, so you support him because he's stopping undocumented immigration into this country?
Yeah, I think it offers more jobs for the American people.
Okay, and are you saying like you support his policy to stop new undocumented entry, or you support his policy to remove all of the undocumented immigrants that are already in the country?
To remove all.
Okay, so you support mass deportation. Yeah, mass deportation is not good for the job market. It actually has the opposite effect. It's terrible for the job market because of how economically destructive it is and how much it destabilizes our industries.
You don't think it offers more jobs for people who are living in America who can't find work right now?
Yeah, I don't think that at all. Because your argument is just falling down to the base assumption if we have less people in the labor market by like removing the 8.3 million undocumented immigrants that are working, there'll be more job opportunity. But a smaller labor market historically actually means less job opportunity. Like think back to 50 or 100 years ago when we had a proportionately smaller labor market. Did we have more or less job opportunity?
I could see your reasoning there. But if you're so let's say let's just say we're already struggling, right? We're struggling big time with, I mean, I'm a single mom and it's hard for me to get jobs. So like, because of that, you know, we need more job openings.
Well, like what,
right?
What creates job openings? Companies that are turning more profit, right?
Yes.
Do employees turn companies profit?
Yes.
So the more employees a company has, given that the company is being dictated with people that are
if they can't afford
financially
the
responsible and
employees,
have good business acumen, those employees are going to generate an ROI, and which will then make their company more profitable. That's like how companies and companionship in the labor market to corporate powers works under capitalism.
but if you earn, so let's say you're not able to afford all your employees, right? Like a lot of, like I live in Washington State, not sure where you're at, but in Washington State, we have a really hard time with affording enough employees. Like we don't have enough help. So I'm a bartender and I do everything from bartending to dishwashing, all of it, because they can't afford more employees.
1 second. If I could please have a mod block the 9th video in the comment section, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Oh no, you're good. I, like as a bartender up in Washington State, like we don't have enough employees for help because they can't afford to hire more employees. So the minimum wage up here is much more than like a lot of other states, and so we struggle to have help that we need. So we have to do everything all on our own.
Okay. And I just want to like very quickly, Sarah, sorry, I'm gonna have to kick you. It's not your fault. Guys, okay. If you're curious, like her 9th video was like sexually suggestive. And the reason why I have to remove her is because people are just finding new ways to spam 9th video in the chat. You guys have to keep in mind that like there's like minors that are probably watching. You know, like TikTok is an app with people that are under 18 on it, and right now we have over 17,000 people watching. Like I just you know, when you put that in the comment section, people watching the live are of course going to go check. And I think that it's like not a good thing to be like soliciting a video without giving any like context of the video, which is probably causing like minors to unknowingly like go and click on it. Like I think that's just not something I want to happen. So, you know, if like there is a guest with like content that's sexually suggestive, you know, like please don't like spam about it in the chat for that reason, because it'll just like unknowingly direct minors to go and look at it, which is something that is bad. So that's why I kicked you, Sarah. You know, nothing to do with, it's not your fault, but let's just go to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue if you happen to be a Trump supporter that is of 18, of 18 years or older. That's from America. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I'm like very iffy on it, but definitely more left leaning than right.
Okay. So you don't support Trump as president then?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I confused the two. Right versus left. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I apologize.
You're good. Yo, real quick before we hop into the debate, Raven, appreciate you for the $5 over on Super Chat saying you the GOAT. Appreciate that, Raven. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you. As well as Lauren, thank you so much for the $20 donation on Venmo. Thank you so much. Lauren with the 20 bucks says despite having very vocal liberal parents his whole life, my 17-year-old credits you for swaying him away from the right and towards his liberal views. Thank you for helping the younger generation, Dean. Lauren, I'm literally so happy to hear that. And I bet you as a mom are as well. That's awesome. Thank you for the $20, Lauren. Shout out to you and your 17-year-old son. As well as Nadi, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Nadi. And then Angela with the $23. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Angela. Let's show some love to Laura, Nadi, and Angela down below in that chat. As well as Rosie, I appreciate you so much for the $5 over on PayPal, as well as I did read your message there. That is so incredibly kind. Yeah, go ahead and take it away. Tell us overall why you do indeed support Trump as president.
So I want to preface by saying
Wait, I forgot to ask your age. How old are you?
I am 20 years old.
Okay, go ahead.
So my boyfriend is an immigrant. He is from the Dominican Republic and is currently going through the immigration process, trying to receive his residency card. I do agree with illegal deportation just because it has a huge impact on how long the immigration process takes when it is being done correctly. And I've been seeing that firsthand with my boyfriend and his family members as well.
Did she accidentally leave? I think she accidentally left. She was probably like fidgeting with her phone and like just accidentally scrolled. If I had to guess. Well, hop back in that queue if you accidentally left. I'll bring you back up. Holy shit. Yo, dude. Holy shit. Yo, dude. 1 second. So, what's up? Do you support Trump?
They will be delivered prior to November 1st.
No, they're not. I'm going to go to kick them. But yo, S. Oh my goodness gracious. S. Thank you so much for the 100 Australian dollars or whatever the name of the currency is over on Super Chat. Holy fuck, S. That is so much money. I do not deserve that. Thank you so much for your kindness. Show some love to S in that chat. Wait, thank you. Yeah, so much for the $100. They say, hello from Australia, showing my love for so many reasons. Point number 1, I've learned so much from your streams, including how to think critically about my local politics. And point number 2, I also have a cat named Momo. And point number 3, the American economy could use a little stimulus after the last 8 months. Dude, S, that is so fucking kind of you, bruh. Yo, show some love to S in all of the live stream comment sections. I really appreciate you for the $100 donation. I do not deserve that. And that is literally so much fucking kindness. Thank you. What is up? Do you support Trump as president?
Yes, I do.
I think that is a 4.5-year-old. And moving on to the next guest up that queue. If you are MAGA, just make sure that you're following the rules, please. You just gotta be an American adult that is pro-Trump. That is all that I ask. Indeed, indeed. Let's go to move on to the next guest right now. Quite frankly, go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below in that chat. Quite frankly, Trump with your age down below right now. Let's see who's next. Dude, my queue is just full of children. Like, dude, get a job. I guess I can't tell that to them because they're like 12. You can't get a job, nor should you. Leave the live. Go watch Cocomelon. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Dude, you are literally so base that I have to ban you. You're banned for being way too cool, K. I didn't ban you as a joke, but we are just looking to talk to Trump supporters. Moving on. We got Leslie Lopez connecting. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. In the meantime, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on TikTok and sharing out that live on YouTube. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Can I tell you something?
Are you going to tell me that you're a Trump supporter? I'm just going to assume no, and I'm also, I think that you're underage, so I got to kick you. Leslie, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here because we just can't find anybody to debate. Julene, thank you for the $20 super chat. Oh my, whoa, okay, Julene, thank you for the $20. Let's go ahead and read Julene's message. Thank you for standing up for me. I was raped 50 plus years ago. I testified 30 years later after he raped his daughter. It destroyed my family. They believe that they believe that using fingers isn't rape and that it's SA. MAGA has fried their brains. Julian, I'm so sorry to hear that happened to you. And I'm so sorry to hear your family's evil position. I hope that you're doing better and that, you've been able to process that to the best of your ability. But honestly, no human should even have to try to attempt to complete such a daunting, impossible task. And I really hope that the man that did that to you is now facing justice. Thank you, Julian. I appreciate you for the $20 and thank you for sharing your experiences with us. Sarah, I sent you an invite to unmute your mic. Do you support Trump? You sound a kilometer or two away from your microphone.
I'm sorry.
You're like half a kilometer away from your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. Okay, you said that you're MAGA?
Yeah.
Do you live in Kentucky?
Yes.
And the other day you came up and you told me what time it was, and I was like, no, that's not the time it is, because you live in the part of Kentucky that's CST?
Yes.
Look at me and my good memory. I'm good at this. Okay, you were echoing like crazy. Can you swipe in and out of the app, stop the screen recording, or unplug any Bluetooth devices?
I don't know why I'm echoing.
Just swipe in and out of the app. See if that fixes it.
Okay.
Take any phone case off too if you have one on. We'll try to fix it. But that echo's too bad. If we can't fix it, I will have to kick you.
Is this better?
Test? We'll try it out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's not better. I got to kick you again. I'm sorry, Sarah. If you find a way to fix the echo, feel free to re-request. And honestly, I bet that the echo wasn't like super bad for the people tuning in. But I've like earphones on. Hi, Cat. Hello, Momo. Wow. The kitty just opened up the door and is now hanging out with us. Hello, Momo. Hey, what's going on? Do you support Trump as president?
No, but you helped me with my mental health so much. I had self-harm and you had helped me so much.
Hey, all the love in the world to you. And I'm really happy that the streams can help you out. You're awesome, okay? Never forget that. You're awesome and very loved by so many people. You have a good rest of your day. Let's get that next guest loaded up into the box here while we're hanging out with Momo. We got Frito connecting to the stream right now. I don't even know how she got in here. What's up? Do you support Trump as president? Oh, she's gonna be hanging out with us. Oh, she's so cute, dude. I love this kitty. I love this cat so much. I love Momo. She's my favorite. Please don't step on my keyboard. Please don't do it. Oh, she didn't do it. Very good. All right, moving on to the next guest. Hop in that queue. If you happen to be a Trump supporter, we're gonna get you loaded in. We got Nathaniel loaded up here with the kitty still in frame. What is up? Do you support Trump?
I'm independent.
Okay, does that mean that you support Trump or not?
No.
Okay. Guys, we are only looking to talk to American adults that support Trump as president. Guys, please follow the rules if you happen to be in the queue. Okay, I need to have confidence that whomever is in the guest request is an American patriot that supports Trump as president. Those are the rules. It has now been over an hour since we've had a Trump supporter loaded up in here with over 17,000 people in the stream. We gotta do something about this, Momo. What are we gonna do? Momo, how are we gonna find Trump supporters? Can I have your advice? Let's go get that next guest loaded up in here. Oh. All right, let's get that next guest. What's up? Do you support Trump as president?
No, but how do you feel about Tylenol?
Banned, Layla. I just gave like a whole spiel about how we're just looking to talk to Trump supporters. Follow my rules and respect my boundaries, please. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box right now. Libby, thank you so much for the $50 on Super Chat. Huge shout out to Libby down below. Thank you so much for the love. Holy crap, Libby. Libby with a 50 big one says, my 5-year-old niece said that she wants your cat. Momo's a cutie. Momo's such a cutie. She's such a good kitty too. She's like really warmed up to me in the last year or so, and she's just such a good kitty now. Blocking the view of the stream, but why the hell not? We'll let her do her thing. Moving on to the next guest, everyone. Just give us a minute, guys. We are just trying to find one Trump supporter, but the Trump supporters are just nowhere to be seen. Honestly, if you support Trump and you want to come up here, just go ahead and put a Trump with your age down below and we'll pull you up from the comment section because we're just finding no one in the queue that is Trump right now. But let's also get 500 Libby W's. Once again, thank you for the $50, as well as Coral with a $20 for toys and treats for Momo. Oh, she's spoiled as is. That's going to spoil her so much more. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Thank you for the $20. What's up? Do you support Trump as president?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
Okay. What month?
May.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Real quick, Lindsay, thank you for the $5 on Venmo for the Momo cameo. Haley with the $5 on Venmo for the Momo text. Kimberly with the $2 on Venmo saying, is Momo named after Avatar The Last Airbender? Yes. And Allison with the $5 as well. Thank you so much, guys, for the love, as well as Eli with the $4 on PayPal. Rosie with the $5 on PayPal. Catherine with the $5. Hillary with the $5. Appreciate you guys so much for your kindness. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Donald Trump as president.
Well, I mostly support him for his immigration policies. I do believe that deporting people is good for the benefit of America.
Okay, you're all over me.
Yeah, no, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I don't actually support Trump.
Okay, please stay out of the queue then and follow the rules. Guys, so if you're like coming up onto the live and like you're not actually a Trump supporter, like what you inevitably do is you just like prevent the debates. Like it has now been over an hour, and I just think that like there's something to be said about that. The fact that it's now been over an hour since we've had the last debate, it is kind of getting crazy. So please follow the rules. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, what year were you born in?
2007, July 1st.
And why the hell do you support the worst president of your 18 years of life, Mr. Donald J. Trump?
I support him because, I don't know, I feel like he's done a lot for our country.
Like what?
Well, first, the immigration, and then...
First, the immigration? What immigration policies he passed that you're a big fan of?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, would you rather have somebody like Kamala or Biden versus Trump? Like, in those three options, like, who would be best fit?
Kamala.
Why?
Well, I'm not going to tell you until you finish your argument insofar as why you support Trump as president. Right? You told us that you support Trump as president because you like what he's doing with immigration. I asked you, like, what is he doing with immigration that you like? And I haven't heard a response to that question.
Well, look, I'm not going to lie. I'm just a really big fan. I wanted to say hey.
Okay, well. Hi, I hope that you're having a good day. I just don't understand why you would do that after I've explained maybe 30 times so far that we're just looking for debates with people that support Trump. And it's now been over an hour since we've had our last debate. If this continues on, guys, I'm just going to end at 2 hours. Right now, we're an hour and 37 minutes into this stream. If we can't find a debate by 2 hours, which would be in the next 23 minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and end. What's up, Anthony? Do you support Trump? Okay, Anthony's not here. Let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Go to put a Trump with your age down below in that comment section while we're looking for that next guest. I swear to God, I'm looking hard. And if you want to support me and support what we do here, you can on Venmo and PayPal, which is located in the link tree in my bio, as well as Gabriella. Thank you for the $10 donation on PayPal, saying try giving Momo temptation treats. My cat fiends over them. They love them. She's a big fan of the catnip. She goes crazy over the catnip, but I'll have to try the temptation treats. Appreciate you for the 10. As well as Kaylin. Thank you for the $10 as well. Thank you so much. Good shit for winning a debate with your dad, Kaylin. What's up, Kate? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
How old are you? I didn't kick them. They literally just left. Boy, moving on to the next guest. Tree, thank you for the $10 on Venmo, saying petition to have more Momo in the streams. Well, I'm really allergic to Momo, so I try to keep her out of here when I'm streaming so I'm not just sneezing up a storm. And I actually don't even know how she got in today. She like literally opened the door, which is kind of nuts. Caroline, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. My dog Momo says hello to your cat Momo. You have a dog named Momo? That's so cute. We're going to go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the queue right now. If you happen to be one of the 19,000 people watching on TikTok and you are an American adult that supports Trump, hop in that queue for me. It has been an hour since we had our last Trump supporter. Like, they're just not here, dude. MAGA is extinct. What is up, Thinker? Do you support Trump?
On one issue.
Overall, do you support him as president?
No, but on one issue, I definitely...
All right, we're going to move on to the next guest here because we still can't find anyone to debate. I guess that Donald Trump is a president with no support whatsoever, and MAGA is extinct and a figment of the past. MAGA is now American history. Okay, no more MAGA. No more MAGA anywhere. Prove me wrong. If you're an American adult that supports Trump as president, hop in the queue. We'll pull you up here. Prove me wrong. And now it's been over an hour. We've probably had 500,000 people in and out of here in the last hour with not a single soul to debate. How crazy is that, folks? How crazy is that? What is up? Do you support Trump as president? Hello? Nope, not here. Wow, well, another one bites the dust, folks. Another one bites the dust. Moving on. Let's see. How many more non-Trump supporters will we be able to find in the guest request? How many more? How many more? We got Layla loading up in here. How many more non-Trump supporters are in the queue? Is every single person in the guest request just not a Trump supporter? I think that's maybe what it is. I literally think that's what it is. There's like 87 people in the queue. Not a single one of them supports Trump. What's up? Do you support Trump as president, Z? Nope, they just left. Wow, another one bites the dust. What are we at? Over 100 now? Over 100 because no one supports Trump and I'm just getting trolled. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I love you, Dean.
Okay, nuts. I'm actually going to ban you. I'm actually going to show it to you too. Watch this.
No.
Yeah, you're blocked. So now when I remove you from the stream, you will never see my main account again. Listen, man. I mean, he can't hear me anymore because he's blocked. I love you too, and I think it's awesome that you enjoy our content. But unfortunately, those are the rules now. And you broke that boundary, even though I've only been talking about that boundary for the last 30 minutes. And that's actually what we are now going to start doing to every single person that comes up here that's not a Trump supporter. So let's go to get that next guest, Osman, loaded up in. In fact, we're going to start showing the block button. Osman, are you MAGA?
I do support Trump, yeah.
Okay. And what time is it? Banned?
What did you say?
Oh, he didn't even hear me. I thought he heard me and just didn't have a response. Moving on to the next guest, guys. Let's go to get the next guest loaded up in here. Only hop in that queue if you are an American adult that supports Trump as president, folks. Only hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump as president. What's up? Are you driving?
Say what?
Are you driving?
What is that? No. Yeah, I am driving. Wait.
Can't be driving on TikTok, guys. Only hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump as president that is not driving. Like, listen, you will not even last a moment if you're breaking the rules anymore. Hi, Matt. Do you support Trump?
Oh, I do. I do support Trump.
And how old are you?
I am 18, July
born?
8th, 2007. Last time I came on... Oh, wait, I am 18. The last time I came on, I was not. But now I am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Give me a moment here. I have a couple people to thank. Gabriella, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Show some love to Gabriella. I think I actually already thanked you. As well as Emily with the $10 on PayPal saying, hey, Dean, I was just curious if you happen to know Law of the Wild. Love what you do. Yeah, we used to have Law of the Wild up here all the time. I do know him. Show some love to Emily for the $10. And oh my God, Kirstine, what a cool name, by the way. Kirstine, thank you so much for the $45 donation over on PayPal. Kirstine, you are fucking amazing. Thank you so much for your kindness. Kirstine says, sorry, we can't find a real debate. I hope my kids turn out like you and have the right morals. Kirstine, with a good mom like you, I know they will. Show some love to Kirstine down below in the comment section. Thank you for your kindness. As well as Barbara with a $25 over on PayPal saying cat treats are costly. Thank you, Barbara. That's going to go straight to Momo. As well as Sandra with the $20 on PayPal saying this is for some chips and salsas. Sandra, I love my chips and salsas. So you are fucking fantastic. Show some love to Sandra and Barbara down below in that chat. There's a handful of other people that I do need to thank, but I'm going to go and let this guest start their argument. So take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
I support Trump because I mostly am on the same side as him in everything he really speaks about.
What?
Mainly the tariffs, the deportation, his stance on LGBTQ. And wait, is this a debate or what is this?
Yeah, this is a debate.
Oh, do you want to pick a topic? Because
No,
I will debate.
I want you to pick a topic. Name one reason why you support Trump. The most compelling reason you have.
Most compelling reason I have.
Yep.
What is your stance on immigration?
Well, that's not a compelling reason to support Trump as president.
Oh, all right, tariffs.
Okay, so
I think.
So why do you support his tariffs?
Because Trump's many other. Wait, let me think what I want to say. Oh, sorry. So, do you know what happened in the 80s with Nixon? How he went to China and or Nixon, I think it was. And then he asked to trade with China, and we would have to pay many tariffs in return for them paying nothing. And then for the next 40 years, politicians have said they want to reverse this, but Trump has been the first one to do it. So I just want to ask your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think that his inevitable trade deal that he got with China is bad for us and good for them. So can we agree here that competition breeds and drives innovation?
Yes.
Okay,
I would
all
agree
right.
so.
Right, and guess what? The trade deal that he inevitably got with China is us having higher tariffs on them and them having lower tariffs on us. Meaning that we're going to prevent more Chinese goods from entering into the American marketplace, and we're going to allow more American goods to enter into the Chinese marketplace.
Well, Dean,
which means less competition in America
I'm sorry.
more competition in China. And if competition drives innovation, this means less innovation in America and more innovation in China. It's literally a China first agenda.
Well, why wouldn't we want all our products to be homemade? Because imagine we get into a conflict with China, and they're like, "All right, we're not giving you anything more," and like that's like our main base for goods, or like, that's where we're getting our goods from. What happens then?
So a really big reason why we shouldn't just make everything in America is because that would just destroy our economy. So the globalization of commerce and competitive advantage is very important for the functions of the free market and optimal economic performance, because it allows us to just really focus on the things that we're good at making while still allowing a competitive market with other goods as well for like the lowest price possible to the consumer. But when we like force the restriction of tariffs on the market and make it so everything has to be produced here, not only is that going to make like most goods significantly more expensive because they're significantly more expensive to make here, but it's also going to make them of a lower quality, and it's going to make the economy as a whole less competitive in the global market by making our producers less innovative via less competition. It just isolates us. It leads to lower levels of innovation. It leads to higher prices for consumers and suboptimal economic performance.
I think quality. I think China has a good way of mass producing things at cheap quality, and that's why you see all the like these backed up ports, because they just can't pay the tariffs anymore.
Well, I don't even know why you're talking about China.
Their economy's going.
Our biggest tariffs aren't even on China. Our biggest tariffs are on India and Brazil right now. Right now, we have a 50% tariff on India, and we have a 50% tariff on Brazil. Do you support those?
Yes.
Why?
Because I believe tariffs are necessary.
For what goal? Because all that this is doing is, point number one, making goods produced in India and Brazil significantly more expensive for the American consumers. And point number two, geopolitically fucking us over by distancing India away from America after they've been growing closer to us since their independence, and now pushing them closer towards China. So it's bad for American consumers, and it's bad for the geopolitical positioning of the United States of America.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So you're saying you wouldn't want goods to be made in America?
I'm saying I don't want goods to cost more for the American consumer, and I don't want suboptimal performance with less innovation and less GDP growth from American companies. And I don't want to fuck over a geopolitical positioning by pushing away a country, the largest country on earth, that has been finally growing closer to us and becoming one of our allies in the last 20 years, towards China. I don't want that at all. That's very bad.
I will agree with you on the fact that it does push us away geopolitically. But I think we are one of the leading innovators in tech, and I think we should use that to our advantage.
What does this have to do with why you support the 50% tariff on India?
Well, yeah, I was talking about tariffs. I wasn't talking about the India one.
That's the country that we have the highest tariff on right now, so of course we're going to be talking about them. It's also the largest.
Do you know why that is? Me personally, I don't.
Well, you said that you're the one that supported it, and I'm giving you reasons why you shouldn't support it, and you're now failing to give me a reason why you do.
Wait, but I don't know why Trump put the tariffs on India. If you gave me a reason, then I would be able to put a stance on it.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Oh, okay. By the way,
if you're telling us that you can't give a stance on if that tariff is good or bad, if you don't know the reasons, and you don't know the reasons, well, then you can't give us a stance on the fact that you think it's good. Therefore, you don't have an argument that Donald Trump is a good president because of his tariffs.
Well, how can you say it's bad without giving a reason?
I did give two reasons. It makes goods more expensive for the American consumer. It fucks over our own market.
It doesn't make them more expensive.
Yes, it does, because inevitably
how does it make them more expensive
by the American consumer?
What?
Because inevitably that tariff is paid for by the American consumer. There's no other way to do it.
Can you break that down? I don't think that's true.
Sure, I'll give you a super simplistic explanation. Massive, like multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, either like the exporters of the goods in India or the importers of the goods in America, they operate at like average profit margins of like 4 to 6%, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just gonna agree with you because I'm not sure.
So the exporter in India can't consume the tariff because it's 50%, and the importer.
Can you tell
in
these
America
motherfuckers to stop commenting, Skip?
No, they just don't like your arguments. I don't either. I'm just being patient.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right now, I'm going to go back to my argument. Okay.
And by the way, what you said about Charlie Kirk was beautiful.
Dude, oh my God. Okay, I'm going to kick you in like 5 seconds.
Why not?
I'm going to kick you.
I said it was beautiful.
I'm going to kick you if you do not listen to me right now.
All right, you're right. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, you're really testing my patience, man. You're really testing my patience. Okay. Will you stop testing my patience and listen to what I have to say?
Of course.
So the reason why that tariff will inevitably be paid for by the American consumer is very simple. Okay? Neither the exporter from India nor the importer in America has the availability to eat the cost of the tariff, as their profit margins literally don't allow it.
Say that again? That sounded like a word sentence, like
Dude.
a word salad.
The tariff is 50%, and the average profit margins of super big companies are like 46%. The exporter can't eat the tariff because it's larger than their profit margins, and the importer can't eat the tariff because it's larger than their profit margins, meaning that the only thing they literally can do is pass it off to the consumer if they want to stay in business.
No, but you mean by raising prices to combat tariffs?
It's the only thing that they could do to stay in business.
All right. Yeah, I can't do this anymore. But I thank you for accepting me, and have a good one.
You too, dude. You too. Oh my goodness gracious. We're going to move on to the next Trump supporter. He was our first Trump supporter in an hour, and he ends up leaving saying that he can't do it anymore. Are we just not getting any Trump supporters because they just know they can't debate? I think that's actually quite plausible. Hey, let's see here. Eli, thank you for the $25 donation over on Venmo, bro. Holy shit. Thank you, Eli. Let's get 250 Eli W's in that chat. Eli says, keep up the good work. What is a nonpartisan news source / fact check that you spoke about? I want to use it. Ground News. And I'm not getting paid to say that, but I do get paid to talk about them sometimes. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that. But they're pretty good. Thank you for the $25, Eli. As well as Nikki, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. As well as I read your message there. Thank you so much for your kind words. Shout out to Nikki and Eli in that chat, folks. What is up? Do you support Trump as president? Nope, they're not even here. Good day. Go ahead and put a me with your age down below in that comment section if you want to come up and have a debate about why you support Trump. Isaac!
Come up and have a debate about why you support Trump.
Thank you for the $5.
Isaac! Come up and have a debate about why you support Trump.
Thank you for the $5.
Isaac! Come up and have a debate about why you
Holy fuck, dude! What was that? Isaac, thank you so much for the $5 on PayPal. I appreciate you for that, love. You know, you're actually reminding me that my Discord wanted me to bring up somebody yesterday by like the name of Isaac C. If Isaac C is in here, you should hop in the queue. I'm gonna keep an eye out for that name. I don't see it, but if I do see it, I'll bring you up. As well as Juliet, thank you for the $10 on PayPal, saying rough day, OMG Sorry King. You know what? The days are just like they used to be, you know? We used to never be able to find any Trump supporters. And we're back at that point again. We've just scared them all away. What's up? Do you support Trump? Nope, they're not here. Look at we're literally scaring all the Trump supporters away. No one can handle the heat. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. We got Coach Tide connected. What's up, Coach? You support Trump?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Am I? My bad. I didn't know I was in there. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Hey. Yeah, so I support whoever's the president.
Yeah. You shouldn't do that.
Why shouldn't I do that?
Yeah, because a hidden check and balance of any functioning democracy would be the social support for or against what the president is doing. When you don't support what the president is doing, therefore not supporting the presidency, it puts more pressure on the president not to do that bad thing.
Right, but at the same time...
Perfect. I'm happy we could have that conversation. Now get the hell out of here. Obviously, what I'm asking you to come up is if you support Donald Trump because you think he's a good president. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. And in the meantime, holy fuck. Oh, I have somebody to thank for a donation. Before I do, what is up? Do you support Trump as president?
Mainly because of what he's doing with the...
So you do support him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Before we hop into the debate...
I've been waiting so long to talk. It's sorry, just a little...
No worries. No worries.
Frustrated.
Before we hop into the debate, I have somebody to thank. Holy fuck, Alex. Thank you so much for the $250 donation on PayPal. Alex, that is just simply unreal. I really appreciate you for the love, man. That is preposterous. So much money. I do not deserve that. You have been supporting me for like ever now and just showing so much love. If I could please literally get everyone watching to spam like 3,000 Alex W's, it'd make my day. Let's see nothing but Alex W in the chat for like the next 10 minutes. Alex says you're awesome. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. You are hanging out with us so much. You are always in here supporting me. Just know that I genuinely really appreciate you for your kindness through the donations and the very kind words that you have to share every single time you're in here. Thank you so much. Shout out to Alex down below. And go ahead and take it away, Mr. New Guest. Tell us why you support Trump.
What he's doing with like the $100,000 for the visas for the job market, and also just keeping the whole like trans issue with women's sports, I think was an important cultural win.
Okay. Which one do you want to talk about first?
The trans in sports.
Okay. Well, we actually can't talk about trans individuals on TikTok Live. It'll get you flagged for hate speech and get me banned. But there's a way that we can kind of, sort of wrap in something similar. So your argument would be that they're men and they shouldn't be in like women's spaces, right? A simple yes or no will suffice. A simple yes or no will suffice.
Yes.
So we're not testing TikTok TOS. Okay. Well, I want to make it clear. I disagree with you. Unfortunately, because of TikTok TOS, we can't have that conversation. I tried to have that conversation with somebody 2 days ago. 30 seconds after it started, I got banned. Right? We just can't have it.
That's fine. We could talk about the $100,000.
But there is a way. But there is a way that we can kind of sort of talk about it, because now you're telling me that you don't think men should be in women's spaces. And in fact, that is so important to you. It is the second thing that you say when attempting to justify why Donald Trump is a good president. So just to clarify, okay, we're no longer going to be talking about trans women in women's sports. We're literally going to be talking about cis men going into women's spaces. For instance, a cis man walking into a woman's dressing room or bathroom to perv on the women and girls in the space. How wrong and bad do you think that is?
I mean, it's pretty fundamental, I think, for women to feel safe in those spaces.
So if a man were to walk in there and sexually exploit the women and girls in this space, that would be so incredibly terrible, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I know where you're going with this, but yeah, I would say so.
Okay, and if a man ever did that, do you think he should go to jail because of how terrible it is?
Are you thinking of the whole Trump thing and the pageant? Is that what you're going to bring up?
Oh, no, not at all. We're just talking about that topic. So if a man were to like perv on like naked girls and women within like their women's or girls only spaces, do you think that he should go to jail for doing that?
I mean, yeah, in a private space where they're legally not supposed to be there. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because it's sexual perversion of women and girls. I'm just waving at my girlfriend. Didn't know the door was open. Momo popped open the door and she came in here and she was hanging out with us for a little while. Anyways, love you. Back to you, Mr. Guest. So if a man were to do that, you'd say that they should go to jail. So obviously, if they should go to jail, right, you don't think that they should be able to like serve in like a public office, like hypothetically, such as the presidency. So if you figured out that a president had done this, right, would that be a red line for you? Would you ever support them again?
I mean, if they legally were not allowed to, you know, I would not support that. No.
So you wouldn't support it legally or morally?
Well, I do think there's a line between, I guess, certain bathrooms versus other spaces. You know, like one's legally defined as.
We're asking you about your moral red lines here. We're asking you about your moral red lines here. Let me just clear this up, make it easy. So, if a hypothetical president, this isn't Trump, he'd never do this. If he were to like walk in to a women's only space where there's naked women and naked teens and perv on them, sexually exploit them, look at their naked bodies unconsensually, and boast about how good they look, would you ever support that person as president a day in your life?
Well, I will say that I could support somebody and not support 100% of what they've done. You know, like
so that
with everybody that I like.
So the sexual exploitation of teen girls is not a red line for you?
I mean, define sexual exploitation. I guess like how was Trump sexually exploiting them? Was he taking photos or was he?
We're not talking about Trump at all. Remember, this is all just hypothetical. I mean, I like to define sexual exploitation as the abuse of a position of vulnerability, power, or trust for sexual purposes. And I think that this perfectly would apply to like a man, like walking into a woman's private changing room unconsensually to look at the women while they're naked in that space, right? Because that'd be hinging on that position of vulnerability that the women and girls are in because they feel vulnerable enough to like be able to get undressed since it's their private space where they're getting changed. And it would be sexual exploitation for a man to unconsensually walk back there as he's abusing that said position of vulnerability while they're naked. And abusing that position of trust that they're in because of the social contract that it's a women's only space. So that's why it would be sexual exploitation. But if a man did do this, would you ever support them as president a day in your life? Would the sexual exploitation of women and the sexual exploitation of teen girls be a red line for you?
I mean, I would say No, not necessarily. I mean, it depends on the context of the situation. I need more context as to what this individual is doing. You know, like you can be labeled a sex offender for taking a pee in a park, you know, but that's a little bit different than being a sex offender that does other things.
So I gave you the context. I said the context was the sexual exploitation of naked teen girls and naked women.
No, I would say that's not a morally good thing to do, no. But I also mentioned that I could also support...
If somebody did that, would you ever support them having the most powerful position available to any human on earth, that position being the presidency of the USA?
If I agreed with him on other points, you know, that wouldn't really be a red line for me if I think that it wouldn't impact his decision-making as a president. I would more so look at the policies that he's implementing with immigration.
Can you name any moral red line you'd hold against Trump? A hypothetical one? Finish my sentence. Finish my sentence. You wouldn't support Trump if he did what?
I wouldn't support Trump if he, you know, went against my desires for policymaking. You know, like for the most part, I agree with almost everything coming out of his presidency.
So the policy is the only thing that matters to you. So if Donald Trump raped 10 children with Epstein, but still was passing all the same policy as today, then Congress figures out he raped 10 children with Epstein and they attempted to impeach him. Would you support?
I want to sleep with you. Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No, but I mean, you see a beautiful woman, you want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything, right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
Well, I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but you know, it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So that's what you don't care about.
I honestly didn't think that was that, explicit. You know, it's a Howard Stern clip. You know, he's talking about the pageant. You know, how long was he even walking through there? You know, like how old were the women or the girls? You know, like were they 16, 17, 18? Were they 13? You know, like
15, 16, 17, 18, and adults.
Yeah, I mean it's not okay. No, but it wouldn't negate me wanting him to be president. You know, like I wouldn't impeach him over that.
So which one is it? You wouldn't impeach him over it, or you don't care? Because you told us you literally didn't care.
It doesn't really affect me agreeing with his policymaking now. No, it doesn't.
Okay, so you don't care that he did that.
No, and now that we got specific with it, it makes more sense because obviously I care about people sexually exploiting children.
No, you don't. Because what he admitted to in that clip was walking into a women and girls only space, unconsensually, to look at them while they're naked. That is, definitionally speaking, sexual exploitation. It is. You told us you didn't care about it. Meaning that you don't care about sexual exploitation. How about, let's start there. Do you agree the actions that Donald Trump described in that clip were indeed sexual exploitation?
I mean, were men not allowed to be in that room at all?
So men are not allowed in women's only spaces where they're getting undressed. And yeah, he affirmed that in the clip when he said that there were no men around and that they were undressed with no clothes on. That's, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's a little weird, you know, I
didn't ask you if it was a little weird. I asked you if you agree with me that is sexual exploitation.
I mean, sexual is kind of a charged word, you know, like I would view it as like exploitation. Yeah. You know, like he didn't profit off these women by doing that, you know, like it was kind of pervy of him to do that, but I didn't think.
So you disagree that it's sexual. So you disagree that it's sexual exploitation. I just want to know. Do you
Yeah,
agree
I
or
mean,
not?
like, I don't really think it really fits that term. No, it's pervy, yes, but I mean, being pervy is not sexual exploitation.
Can you define sexual exploitation for me?
I mean, we both agreed upon what you said, which was taking advantage of a position of power for sexual gains or something.
I'll repeat my description. And if you agree with my definition of sexual exploitation, then you would agree that is sexual exploitation. The way that I define sexual exploitation is the abuse of a position of vulnerability, power, or trust for sexual purposes. So, in that example, he abused a position of vulnerability, power, and probably trust for sexual purposes. Think about it. He abused the position of their vulnerability, that they felt vulnerable enough and comfortable enough and trusting enough to take their clothes off as they were in a woman's only space. And he abused that by walking in there and consensually look at them. And he also abused a position of power because the way he was able to write this off was by claiming he was the owner doing an inspection. So he abused a power of vulnerability, power, and trust. We know that. What about the second part for sexual purposes? Okay. Well, the question would be, well, why would you want to look at them while they're naked? I think that answer would be self-evident, that being sexual arousal and or attraction. Right?
I mean, sexual purposes seems also kind of vague, like sexual purposes as in like what, throwing one in the spank bank for later, like
Sexual
that's
purposes
weird.
would be arousal or attraction. Sexual gratification,
attraction, sexual purposes.
I guess I'll replace that with gratification. So it would be sexual arousal or sexual gratification, which we could honestly just reduce down to sexual gratification as an umbrella term that would encompass all of these concepts, right? And like sexual exploitation here, it like fundamentally involves like manipulation, coerce, or force, right? Right? And in this example, he is coercing them and forcing them into this unconsensual circumstance of him looking at them while they're naked by forcing himself into that space, abusing his position of power and abusing their vulnerability as they were back there getting undressed and ready for the show. Right? Like everything that I'm saying right now should be very self-evident. In the fact
No, yeah, it makes sense.
And the fact that you can't understand these concepts tells me that you should probably be on a list.
I do understand the concepts. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't okay. Get back to my point of, I don't think it was okay that he did that, but that doesn't negate me wanting his policies as president.
So now after this conversation, you agree that, like, you do care that he did that and that was, like, incredibly wrong, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say incredibly, but it was wrong.
You don't think that the sexual exploitation of kids is incredibly wrong?
I mean, again, you're sort of getting back to the more vague definition. If we stick to the details of actually what the context of what happened, I don't think it was.
Nothing is vague here. I gave you an incredibly descriptive and clear definition of sexual exploitation. For everyone watching the live, was there anything vague about my definition of sexual exploitation or my description of what Donald Trump did to these women and girls to fit said definition? Was there anything vague about it at all? Okay. Everyone watching the live right now agrees that I've not been vague. So why are you accusing me of being vague? There's nothing vague about this. I think you should be on a list. I don't think that you're safe. I don't think that you're a safe person. This conversation is making me sick. Truly sick. We now have grown men defending the sexual exploitation and perversion of underage girls. He explicitly said he didn't care about the sexual exploitation of minors. And when I said that the sexual exploitation of minors is incredibly wrong, he said not incredibly, after conceding that he thought it might be a little wrong. I would flag you as a potential threat. And that's where I think I'm going to leave the conversation at. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump. We'll get you up here. We'll have a conversation. Let's go ahead and get that next guest loaded up in here, everyone. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. Just make sure that if you do find yourself in the queue that you are following the rules. Please. Sray, thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat. Sray, that is so kind of you. Sray with the $50 has just popped in.
Thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat. Sray, that is...
Okay, the echo's over. Sray with the $50 has just popped in to say, hey, and happy Sunday, everyone. Looks like I missed the Momo cameo. Yeah, Momo was hanging out with us for a bit a while ago. Thank you for the $50, Ray. Hey to yourself, and happy Sunday. I appreciate you for being here, and thank you so much for the love. As well as Rebecca, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying thank you for all that you do 19 minutes ago. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And Maisie with the $10, saying listening to you all the time at work and now driving home. Appreciate your work. Thank you, Maisie. And then Nikki with the $10 as well. Ryan and Sarah with a 5, guys. Thank you so much. What is up? Do you support Trump as president?
No.
All right, I'm going to ban you. I'll only hop in that queue if you do. Moving on. Here we go, folks. Hannah, thank you so much for the $20 donation on PayPal, saying with love from London. Thank you for the love, Hannah. Show some love to Hannah down below. Thank you so much for your kindness, as well as Carolina. Oh my God. Carolina, thank you so much for the $100 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Carolina says, so you don't give up today. You've been saying my name wrong for a week. It's pronounced Carolina. It's Portuguese. Carolina, I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name. And thank you for the $100. I will never forget now, Carolina. So I usually say, let's get like 1,000 W's for the $100 donation, which, by the way, that's so fucking kind. I don't deserve that. But because I've been pronouncing Carolina's name wrong for so long, let's get like 2,000 Carolina W's. Thank you so much, and I do apologize.
20,000.
What's up? Do you support Trump as president?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
All right, you got to be at least 18 to be on TikTok Live. Get pushed. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. If you want to support me, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pinned message on the YouTube chat. And sorry, too much noise. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to support me, but you don't have Venmo or PayPal, you can also support me over on Super Chat. Let's get that next guest loaded up in here. What's up, Aiden? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you?
22. Do you hear me?
Yeah. What year are you born in?
2003.
2003. Fantastic. What month?
August.
Okay. All right. Okay, Aiden, go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump as president.
I like his policies.
Which ones?
Which ones? Let me think. I don't know, actually. I don't really look at politics like that, but I do know that he's lowered the unemployment rate.
No, the unemployment rate is up.
Only for college graduates. In total, it's gone down in the past 50 years.
The civilian unemployment rate is up since the beginning of his term.
By how much?
By 0.3%.
Now, go to Biden's term. It was up way more.
No, that's not true. When Biden was inaugurated in, let's see here, January of 2021, the unemployment rate was 6.4%. When he left office, it was 3.9%.
When he left office.
Yeah.
And then from that term, you're saying that it went up to 4.2%?
4.3%.
It's at 4.3, which is still pretty good. I mean, given that it was at 6.9% or however it was with Biden, I feel like
no, that was a level of unemployment that Biden walked into on January 21st, 2021.
That's fair. I mean, also with COVID too, how he handled COVID, I think that was really good.
Okay, well, we're not going to move on yet because you just told me that the civilian unemployment rate has gone down since the beginning of Donald Trump's second administration. Can you concede that you're incorrect per the U.S. Economic Bureau?
Yeah, and by no means do I think I'm gonna I don't know too much, so that's what I thought, So you're kind of educating me, but yeah.
Cool, awesome. All right, well, yeah. What are the other reasons why you support Trump as president? Given that that's not one, now that you know that the unemployment rate's actually gone up.
I think 4.3 is not that bad though right now. I think that's if we could keep it going lower, good. But
the point is that it's gone up since his inauguration. So obviously the unemployment rate wouldn't be a reason why you support him as president, given that it's gone worse.
Yeah, but I think he's working towards fixing that.
I think that he's working towards making it worse with terrible economic policy like the Big Beautiful Bill, mass deportation, and tariffs.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So should I move on to my next point?
Yeah, no, you should, happily. Now, before you do, I want to thank a couple people. Lumi, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo to help with an anxiety pin because I know these motherfuckers are stressing you out today. I appreciate you for that love, Lumi. Let's get 150 Lumi W's. Honestly, Lumi, I feel like the people were worse and more stressful yesterday. Kiana, thank you for the $5 in Venmo saying that last guy was actually evil. I hope he never has daughters. I actually agree with that. And to Lumi's point about stress, he didn't stress me out. He like made me angry because he's like fucking evil. Dude, like that's just insane. As well as Rian with a $5 saying thank you for what you do. Thank you so much for the love, Rian. As well as Eliza, thank you for the $50 over on PayPal. Eliza, that is nuts. Thank you so much for your kindness. That is LYZA. Let's see, 500 Liza W's. Seriously, thank you so much for the love. That's so kind of you, Liza. Show some love to Liza. And yeah, man, feel free to head on to your next point.
Yeah. Another thing is, just the relations between Israel and other Arab nations. I feel like we're normalizing that and it's getting better with Trump.
What?
With like the Abraham Accords.
The Abraham Accords are one of the key components insofar as why Israel's ethnically cleansing Gaza today. It's because Palestine was intentionally left out of the Abraham Accords, giving them the green light to kind of do whatever they want in the eyes of international law.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about like with all the other Arab nations, keeping those type of relations,
Like which ones
between
specifically?
us. I don't know specifically. I mean,
Because like Iran, Iran is supporting Palestine. Israel literally dropped bombs on Iran last month. Lebanon, the pager attack where they like blew up like 1,000 pagers in different Lebanese individuals' pockets. What countries in the Middle East did that strengthen relations between them and Israel?
Well, no, I just feel like the U.S. and Israel, like that connection is what keeps us under good relations.
Oh, so you think that pulled us closer to Israel? I think that we need to be getting farther away from Israel.
I feel like without them, we kind of like risk that, like we risk relationships with other Arab. I feel like that's like
Wait, what country would we be risking relations with if we were to like cut off our allyship with Israel? I mean, Germany stopped sending them weapons. Canada recognized Palestinian statehood, and so did Australia. And like seemingly, that has just brought the rest of the world closer together. Like you even see like Germany, Canada, Australia, and China and North Korea agreeing. Like what? Like honestly, at this point, the way that the geopolitical influences globally are working out, Israel's on the out because now people are starting to wake up to the fact that they're committing an act of ethnic cleansing. Like, what countries would we be pushed away from if we were to follow in suit, recognize the ethnic cleansing of Israel, stop funding it, and recognize Palestinian statehood?
I don't know. I mean, again, that's just what I saw, like.
Oh, I don't know. You're just saying, I don't know.
That's what I see on the news. So like, that's kind of like what I go off of. Like, I don't really.
Who told you that on the news?
A reporter.
What reporter?
I don't know the name of it. It was like in Fox.
You're literally saying that somebody on the TV told you to think this way, so you think this way.
I mean, it's not what I'm thinking. I considered it a fact, like if that's what they're saying on the news, like where else am I supposed to get my information? Like, am I going to go over there and figure it out?
Well, as the age-old saying goes, don't believe everything you hear on the internet.
And that's fair. And that's why, again, I never debated in my life. I just thought it was interesting. Like, you just popped up and I was like, all right, cool. Like, let me get educated. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, with everything with that, I mean, you said North Korea. I'm pretty sure he was like the first president too to like sit down with him and everything. I think that's pretty big too.
Yeah, 2 summits with Kim Jong-un. They just didn't do anything. They were just like inevitably propaganda for North Korea. Like what did we achieve?
I feel like just sitting down with that president, especially given the fact that they have like those weapons of mass destruction where they can like shoot a rocket over to California in like 30 minutes. Okay. I feel like that's...
If anything, I'd argue that increased tensions between America and North Korea because they agreed
like the sit-down?
Yeah, because they agreed to the nuclear peace deal, but then 3 months after, they went back to missile testing off the shore of South Korea. So like it just led to a broken agreement, which like if anything probably put more positive pressure on like weakening relations.
And then okay, should I go to like another reason?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think here. I guess like his views on immigration and all that.
Which ones?
Just like, I don't know. We have so many problems already. I feel like we were talking about like the unemployment rate. I feel like.
Wait 1 second. What immigration policies of Trump's do you like?
You know, the border. You know, like.
Well, the border's a word.
Hmm.
The border's a word. That's not like a policy.
Like boarding up.
Support his border policy. What border policy?
I don't know the exact name of it, but
okay, what does it do?
It just keeps it under better regulation of
like what
illegal immigrants coming into America.
Okay, like what policies he implemented? What good policies he implemented to slow undocumented entry? Like what is his policy?
I know. There's a lot of like ICE that's coming around and everything. You know,
ICE is Homeland Security. They don't manage the border. They handle deportations.
Oh no, like I don't know shit with the border like policy. That's what I'm just saying. ICE like
so
they're
cracking
down
his deportations.
Yeah, like I guess that's a better way to put it. Yeah.
Okay, what is one positive outcome of mass deportations on this country?
A lot of illegal immigrants that do crime. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of reasons why it's kind of bad. Where in the case of like, they're kind of just cracking down on anybody that's legal, and they could have been here for like 20, 30 years. Great citizens. I mean, not real citizens, but you know, they just like anybody else here, and they unfortunately get sent back home. And
so then
children
what's the positive outcome? Because now you're just
the positive outcome is that there is a good amount of illegal immigrants that do illegal things, and they
in the country.
You know, in the country, yeah.
And point number one, they're actually 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes compared to natural U.S.-born citizens. And point number two, the Trump administration is actually deporting undocumented immigrants with like criminal convictions in America at lower rates than the Biden-Harris administration was. You could get that from.
I just feel like it's more possible. I feel like it's just like what would you do in that case?
Can you respond to what I just said? Could you address the fact that undocumented immigrants are less likely to engage in crimes on America's soil, and Donald Trump is actually deporting those that have at lower rates than Biden?
I mean, I could acknowledge what you said. Yeah. I mean, I just don't know if it's true or not. Well, okay. But like, yeah, I mean, you do this for a living, right?
Go to ice.gov/statistics, isolate for like month by month arrests and removals, and then like click the little drop down on the right side of the menu and click like prior criminal convictions. And you will see that like there's actually lower rates month by month, quarter by quarter so far in 2025 compared to what we saw at any point under the Biden-Harris admin. There's literally a step-by-step instruction to prove that I'm right. Step by step.
So that they're more likely to not do any crime compared to like a regular citizen, is what you're saying.
That's a fact, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the Trump administration is removing those that have at lower rates than Biden and Harris were.
So what would be your, like, if you had like the opportunity to choose like how to fix this problem with illegal immigrants, what would you do?
Mass amnesty, and we could go into that after we finish off on our conversation on like why you support Trump as president. But now that I've disputed this point and given you facts to prove you wrong, like, do you still support Donald Trump like rooted in reasons of immigration? I've detailed to you how he's actually removing less undocumented immigrants proportionate, like with those prior violent offenses, than the Biden-Harris administration was, because the scope is wider. Because instead of specifically focusing on them like the Dems do, he's instead now focusing on all undocumented immigrants, regardless of prior felony, criminal, violent convictions inside of this country.
Gotcha. No, yeah, like I don't know too many of his policies or anything. I just kind of like see on the news what he's doing, and everything kind of looks good. I never really see anything bad necessarily about him, but the only other thing that I could think about that like I liked was probably his deportation, and other than that.
Okay, but I just gave you a reason why, because you told me that you actually don't support the removal of undocumented immigrants that like haven't committed like felony crimes in America.
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
Undocumented entry. So you no longer support his deportation since he's actually deporting them at lower rates?
Well, I feel like it's just really unfortunate. Like I don't know what's a better way to.
Literally, whatever Biden and Harris were doing.
And what were they doing?
well, whatever it was better than what Trump is doing because they had higher deportation numbers of undocumented immigrants with prior violent criminal offenses, right? Whatever it was.
Yeah, we should get back on that. I mean, I agree. I could agree with you there.
I agree. Like overall, Donald Trump is not a good president, and we should have had Kamala Harris elected.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Okay, so you concede your support for Trump. You're no longer MAGA.
Again, I do not like his personality. I don't like him as a person. But I mean, I have to look at I'm looking at just his policies. But
we just evaluated his policies. We're not even talking about him as a person right now. We just evaluated how his policies were worse than Biden and Harris's as it related to deportations. That's all that we were talking about.
I mean, I feel like he's doing it at a way quicker rate. So obviously,
no, he's not. He's literally not. I've already given you this stat 10 times over. ICE.gov/statistics. Go to the quarterly arrests and removals on ICE.gov/statistics. Go to the right side of the computer screen. Click the drop down. Select for prior violent criminal offenses. You will see so far as removals are at lower levels than every quarter under Biden and Harris in the last 4 years. Those are the facts, and they are the facts that are being reported by Tom Homan and ICE from Trump's ICE, Trump's Homeland Security. Tom Homan, Tulsi Gabbard, they're the ones saying that they're less effective at deporting undocumented immigrants with prior violent criminal offenses than Biden and Harris were.
Gotcha. Yeah. Again, I mean, you know more than me, right? So my opinion's changing as it's going on. But yeah, I get what you're saying. The only other thing was I feel like the liberal side of everything, there's things I don't like about it, right?
Wait,
that's
no.
why.
Don't pivot. So do you still support Donald Trump's immigration policy?
There's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it.
Overall, is it better or worse than what we had with Harris?
Oh, wait, can I just answer that one question down there that just commented?
No.
They asked.
No, please answer mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
So overall, is it better and worse than what Biden and Harris had?
Well, from what you said, no. I think Biden and Harris probably were doing a better job. Okay. If you were saying that they were.
So do you wish that Harris had won the election now?
See, I don't know too much about her at all. It would have been nice to have.
Come up here. You say you're happy that Trump won the election because of his immigration policy. ... Debate follows. I get you to concede that Kamala Harris's was better. And then you're like, well, I still don't know enough about her to say that I would have been happy if she won. Moving on. Not doing that to my cortisol levels today. What is up? Do you support Trump as president?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I am 21.
What year were you born in?
2004.
What month?
January.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Real quick, Sarah, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Appreciate you for the love, Sarah. That is very, very kind of you. Sarah with the $20 says, thank you so much for using your mind and voice to benefit humanity. Please stay safe out there. Much love to you as well, Sarah. I appreciate you for that kindness. As well as Brianna and Sean, I appreciate you both for the $5. Thank you so much. As well as Eduardo, thank you so much for the $15 on PayPal. Eduardo says, why does every guest sound so incompetent and ignorant? I appreciate you for that love, Eduardo. And then Isaac with the $20 saying, hey, Dean, this is Isaac K again. The queue is full and I want to debate. Isaac, as soon as you're in the queue, just let me know somehow. I appreciate you for the $20. Isaac with another $5 saying, hey, Dean, it's Isaac K again. I'm in the queue. Okay, I'll look for you. And then Bradley with the $5 as well. Thank you so much for the love. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
My main support with Trump is it's not necessarily anything with the immigration and anything like that or other countries. It's more of the economy. You can say the tariffs and as well as with the sending military to Israel and you can say that's hurting the economy. Can I ask you a quick question? Yes. I didn't come up here to debate Trump. I just had a single question for you, but I'll answer your question.
You didn't come up here to debate Trump?
No, I came up here to ask you.
Boop. See ya. What's up, Shailene? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Shailene, you really shouldn't. He sucks. Big time. Bigly sucks.
I understand that, Dean, and I hear you.
Okay, I'm looking for Isaac. Isaac, what is your screen name? I'm looking for you. So why do you support Trump?
Well, you didn't ask me my age or the year or the month I was born in.
I do not believe that you were under the age of 18.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just couldn't find any good reasons. I thought that Harris just was not smart enough, not quick enough on certain things that I would like her to be. So that's why I voted for Trump. I don't agree with him as a person. Yes, immigration was deportations were a lot higher with Biden and Harris than they are now. I agree with you on that.
Well, remember, just key point, specifically for undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses, but go ahead.
Correct. I heard you on that one. Yes, and I did look that up, and you are correct. But yeah, I do agree with you on the Israel thing, so I'm not going to go there. You know what, Dean? Pick someone who paid you. I'm going to skip out because...
No, don't skip out. You've already said something that I could debate.
All right, well, I'll hear you out.
How could Kamala Harris be less intelligent than the guy that said you shouldn't vaccinate your children because it's too much liquid?
Well, my 4-year-old's not completely vaxxed. So I'm like, I don't understand.
Oh, like,
could you repeat that? Like,
fuck,
what do you mean?
So you're anti-vax?
I am.
Why?
Yeah. Because I have seen some outcomes of some people getting illnesses from vaccines. So, and
what vaccines and what illnesses?
I mean, they're family friends. One of them does have autism. So,
okay. First and foremost, autism is not an illness. Like literally medically speaking, it's not classified as an illness.
Correct.
Second point. Vaccines don't cause autism. That is medical misinformation that was popularized. There we go, in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That has been incessantly refuted and disproven ever since.
Okay.
There's no definitively clear medical evidence to suggest that vaccines cause autism. In fact, every time we look into it, we see that we do not see a correlation between the two.
Okay, that's fine. I just did not choose because I do not know what is in those vaccines. So I just did not feel comfortable putting them into my 4-year-old because it could not guarantee or verify what was in them. So it was a personal choice.
Wait, I have a question. Do you know like what's inside a phone and how phones work?
To an extent, I do. Yeah.
Okay, explain it to me. How does my phone work?
I mean, like, are you talking about your board, your computer board, your battery? Are you talking about how it connects to your Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi?
I want you to explain why, when I press this button on the side of my phone, the screen turns on, and when I touch my finger to the display, I could download this app and see myself.
Well, Dean, I did not invent the phone, so no, I could not go into extreme detail of that. Okay. So I'm not going to try.
Can you go into any detail?
I just think I kind of did on explain what phones do, but I mean,
I don't think you did. So you don't really understand how. So you don't really understand how phones work. Does this mean that you'd never be okay with your child having a phone?
No, I don't think that a phone and a vaccine are the same thing.
Well, the point that I'm trying to make here is just because you don't know
the
how
phone doesn't go inside your body. Well, you know,
and also, but like the point that I'm trying to make here is that just because you don't know how something works doesn't mean that it's not safe. Especially when we have like data and evidence and studies from decades from people that do understand how phones work to definitively prove that they're safe. And this isn't just like a comparison. It's actually a one-to-one. If you'd allow me to finish, this is actually a really good analogy for me to make. Okay, because like if you remember in like the early 2000s or even 2010s, people would suggest that like 3G or 4G radio waves or even like the blue light emanating off of your phone screen can like give you brain cancer. Right? Like legitimately, like people thought this forever, right? And ultimately the reason why they thought that they would like cause like radiation to go into your body was because they didn't understand how phones work. The same way you are suggesting that vaccines can be unsafe and cause autism because you don't understand how vaccines work. And this is evolutionarily driven from something that was very advantageous for us like 150,000 years ago. You know, ooga booga, I'm a Homo sapien sapien living 150,000 years ago. There's a dark cave in front of me. Should I sleep there for the night. Well, I can't see inside the cave. I don't understand what's in the cave. Therefore, I'm not going to trust the cave because maybe there's a predator that's potentially in that cave that would make it unsafe. It was evolutionarily advantageous for us to think this way for so long, but more often than not in modern society in 2025, this evolutionary driven instinct of us only hurts us by saying, we don't understand how phones work, therefore they're radioactive and will fry your brain, or in your circumstance, I don't understand how vaccines work, therefore they're unsafe and will cause my kid to have autism. But we have a solution for this, and that solution is very expensive education that takes 12 years and medical licenses that at the end of the day cost like $1 million to pay for the 12 years of schooling, and the highly competitive medical schools and entry exams, and the real world experience of the incredibly competitive workforce of being a doctor practicing medicine, and research facilities that work with the doctors that practice medicine with these degrees, with this background knowledge, that then work together and apply an objective way of thinking, the scientific method, towards testing the vaccine, understanding how it works, and seeing if it is effective and safe. And guess what? They all say it is effective and safe. So that should be the point where you're then like, okay, I'm going to stop thinking the vaccine is unsafe. I'm going to look at the data, look at the science, realize that they've all come to the same unanimous conclusion that it is safe, and give it to my child to protect them and their well-being in the future.
Okay, well, I never said that vaccines were bad for anybody else. I just said it was a personal choice. I said that I did not think that necessarily you get autism from a vaccine. I just said that a family member is relating that. Do I agree with that family member? Maybe not. But I don't know how a phone works, but I see how passionate you are about vaccines. I respect that.
Would you ever personally put your kid on a plane?
I just did 24 hours ago.
Do you think that planes are safer than vaccines?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it's a risk I'm taking by getting on that plane.
Right,
so
and you're willing to,
it's the risk I'm taking by ingesting it.
Right, but you're willing to take a greater risk of putting your child on an airplane to just get them from one location to another. So why aren't you willing to take a lower risk to not just transport them easily, but like keep them safe from potential risks of incredibly bad diseases and conditions that could be life-threatening in the future?
Well, she did get all of her vaccines in the first 2 years. She just has not continued to get all of them in the third and fourth year. So,
yeah, like keeping her at risk for those things that she's not vaccinated for now.
Okay, well, I guess that's a personal choice then. So we'll have to agree to disagree. So,
any other reasons why you support Trump?
No, I'll stop at that. You can pick somebody else. Thanks, Dean.
Yep, you take care. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that is pro-Trump. I just gave such a good line of thought of why you should vaccinate your children and how they're safe. I even got super personal to her circumstances. And just in one ear out the other. Very disappointed. Gino,
hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Give me a second. Gino, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you so much, Gino. Show some of the Gino down below. That is Gino. Gino says, thanks for the knowledge. Trump loves the uneducated. Sure as hell he does. I love the uneducated. As well as Brianna with a $5 and Mason with a $2. Guys, thank you for the love. And then Caitlin, 10 minutes ago with the $11. Thank you so much. Caitlin actually says, thank you so much. That is very kind of you. And Isaac says, this is my last dono. Isaac, are you in the queue? I'll look for you again. And then Marissa with the $10 saying you're the best. Thank you, Marissa. And then Allison with the $10 as well. Thank you so much, Marissa and Allison. Please show some love to all of our donors down below in that chat. And what is up, Truth Matters? Do you support Trump as president?
Yes.
Okay.
And no at the same time. It's the reason I support him mostly is because I'm tired of the wokeness that's become a part of this culture. And I feel like it's being pushed way too much than it should. I support the LGBTQ 100%.
I'm gonna need you to get more woke, man. This is just simply unacceptable.
But I mean, it's altering, it's people's just pushing this this agenda through.
What agenda?
Is just gotten out of hand. This woke agenda.
What woke? Could you be more specific? You sound like Trump.
All right. So, like, for instance, there was this video game that came out, a year or two back, and it got terrible reviews because there was lack of female characters.
Okay.
And that's ridiculous.
Okay, so people chose to not like a game because they don't think it had enough representation.
No,
Does this affect you?
It affects me because it feels like it's holding back, a certain how do I say it? I can't think of the words together.
Dude, I mean, men will choose to not like games because the women have too much clothes on in the game. But you're telling me the moment maybe like a woman chooses to not like a game because she doesn't think it has enough representation, all of a sudden that is a woke mind virus that will justify making a wannabe authoritarian president?
I get where you're coming from, but let's be honest. If Kamala Harris became president, I feel like the way that people were to be pushed into that certain reality would just be it'd be ridiculous.
The way people would be pushed into reality would be ridiculous. I know, because so many people on the light like to live outside of reality.
Yeah, that's true. But and I just feel, Trump, he is amusing. Let's be honest. He is quite amusing.
So what do you think Kamala Harris would have pushed people to believe that is just ridiculous and unacceptable?
I can't think of a thing, honestly.
Okay, so this is literally propaganda. Your argument is a word. Your argument is woke. That's your argument. That's as far as it goes. Prove me wrong.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But yeah, it's just gotten out of hand with with certain aspects of.
I do appreciate you for coming up, man. I'm just gonna move on. Yo, dude, Isaac. I brought up someone named Isaac, but they automatically left. I don't think it was you. There's no one named Isaac like in my queue. Is it? Oh wait, actually there is. Found him. What's going on, man? You support Trump?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you support Trump?
Hello?
Hi, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, before we hop into our debate, I'm going to go ahead and thank a handful of people real quick. That's Mira. Thank you so much for the 70 Canadian dollars over on Super Chat on YouTube. That's Mira. That is literally so fucking kind of you. Oh my God. With the 70 Canadian dollars, Mira says, I felt so bad for you on yesterday's live. Brutal, dude. Oh man, yeah, yesterday was brutal. I'm feeling better today though. They go on to say, I adore you and listen to you almost every day. You give me hope for the future. Lots of love from your big LGBTQ plus fan from Canada. All the love right back to you, Mira. I appreciate you not just for your kind words, but for the 70 Canadian dollars. That is absurd. And that is Mira spelled M-Y-E-R-A. If you guys could please show some love to Mira down below in the chat. It would mean the absolute world to me, as well as Leonardo. I appreciate you for that future encounter. Adriana, thank you for the $50 on Venmo. What the fuck is going on right now? Adriana with a 50 says, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Adriana. Show some love to Adriana in that chat. And then Nicole with a $30 saying, Dean for president, you rock. Maybe one day, I don't know. I've been warming up to the idea, but I'm still like 21. I have a ways to go. Thank you so much for the $30, though, seriously. You guys are being so fucking kind today. Shout out to Adriana for the 50, Mira with the 70, Nicole with the 30, and Aiden for the 10. Thank you so much for the love, Aiden. And Logan with the $10 saying, Dean, let me in at Log. I got all these Trump supporters sending me money to get up. Dude, that's killing me, bro. That's killing me. The money's better off with me in my pocket, swear to God. Marissa with the $10 saying, you're the best. Thank you, Marissa. And Michaela with the $5 saying, get pushed. I appreciate you guys for the love. If you're watching and you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok or in the top of the phone screen, as well as in the pinned message over at YouTube. I'm going to go and let you take it away, Isaac. Seemingly, I'm going to assume that you've been prepping for this for quite a while.
Sort of. Honestly, I'm not like the most well-spoken person, so I'll try my best.
Okay, and are you like in my Discord, or how did that come about? Because my Discord's been begging for you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, why do you support Trump?
Okay, so first and foremost, I want to ask you the question: do you think subsidies or deregulation spurs economic growth more?
Do I think subsidies or deregulation? It would depend on the subsidy and it would depend on the deregulation. I don't think that you could just vaguely say that one thing is going to be like better off.
Okay, then I'll pick an industry. So energy.
Well, it wouldn't even just be industry specific. It would be, well, what is the subsidy or what are you specifically deregulating?
Okay, so permits for nuclear energy versus subsidies for nuclear energy.
I'd say if we wanted more nuclear energy in America, we should do both.
Okay. That's an interesting. So you think, so that's where I think, personally, I think you're wrong. Just because you see right now, Donald Trump.
That's not a reason why you support Trump, though.
Okay. Well, then I'll just say housing is a reason why I support Donald Trump.
Okay. What is he doing for housing?
Okay. So generally the approach that he took was deregulation. For example, on his first day in office, or I think it was like 10 days into his administration, he signed an executive order to make it, or at least push for it, because obviously executive orders aren't going to be law, but to push for everyone, like housing regulation, permitting regulation, they would generally try to slash 10. Whereas,
what specific regulation did he take off the housing market that's making housing more attainable and affordable? Keep in mind, he didn't run on housing affordability. So, I mean, you're telling me something about Trump that Trump didn't tell me about Trump, but whatever. So what specifically did he deregulate?
Well, more generally, I don't know. Do you know what specifically he deregulated?
No, it's your argument.
Well, I mean, it's just the sentiment that counts, right?
No, because words are not deregulation. Regulation is, regulation, not just simply spoken virtue signaling. It's going to be rules on paper. And if you're arguing that he deregulated the housing industry, this would be arguing that he took some of the rules off of the paper for the industry as moderated by local, state, or federal government. So what did he do? Because virtue signaling is not deregulation.
Okay, can I, since I don't have the specifics pulled up, is it okay if I search it real quick?
Yeah, you could look at what he deregulated. I don't think he did, though, because if he did deregulate anything, we would know about it, right? It would be something that he ran on, right? He's actually only added more regulation to the housing market by regulating tariffs on the import of goods that are used in the housing market, like lumber from Canada or steel and tile from Mexico. So in all reality, I think what we're inevitably going to determine here is that he's just added more regulation to the housing market as a second order consequence of his tariffs.
Okay, that's probably something I would agree with. I'm generally against tariffs.
Right, so then you're
sorry.
Against additional regulation he's put in the housing market.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, okay. I'm pulling it up right now. If I had that prepared, that would have been great. So, well, that's doing it.
I mean, just like for the future, I will tell you, okay? And I mean this in good faith. I don't mean this to criticize you. If you want to argue that you support Trump, with your first point being he's deregulated the housing market, you should know how he's deregulated the housing market.
Well, I mean, I just thought more generally, yeah, I get what you're saying. I was just going to kind of make more general argument that deregulation in general solves the long-term issue of like more building. But yeah, I guess you're right. So.
Okay. Well, while you're looking for that regulation or deregulation, I'd like to thank Crystal for the $10 over on Venmo.
Okay,
And keep on doing what you're doing. I appreciate that, Crystal.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
And then let's see here. Amber for the $5 saying that you're the best. Thank you, Amber. And Caleb with the 50 cents saying that Isaac is pro-life in cases of child rape. Isaac, would you care to comment?
I mean, yeah, I can have an abortion debate with you if you'd like.
Is what Caleb said there like true?
I wouldn't specifically say for rape, but for teen pregnancy.
Can teen pregnancy ever be consensual?
I mean, I do believe so. If it's I don't know. Why would it not be?
So teens can consent to sex?
I mean, with like the pressure of someone who's over the age of 18, I don't believe so.
How about in any scenario?
I mean, if they had sex with someone else who's under the age of 18,
and thank you for the
what would that be then?
It'd still be non-consensual. on both sides. So you wouldn't be able to like place culpability on a single party, as both parties would be engaging in unconsensual intercourse with each other. Consent has, let's ask this question. What do you think consent is?
I mean, there's a difference between, I think you're getting at informed consent, right? So you're like,
right, I am.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I say consent, I mean informed consent. I use those terms interchangeably.
Yeah. You're having like the foresight to make a decision, right?
The foresight to make a decision while understanding the relevant context and parameters and outcomes of said decision. That's what informed consent is, right?
Yeah.
And we understand that like teens like don't have the rational faculties required in order to like assert informed consent for sex.
Yeah. So then, what makes people over the age of 18 specifically?
So you can
besides by.
I just want to know if you affirm or deny that teens, right? By the way, I'm not saying if you're not a teen, you do have the faculties to do this. I'm just saying if you are a teen, you don't, right? Right? So can we agree that, like, for instance, 16-year-olds don't have the ability to make informed consent for sex?
I wouldn't agree with that, just because why would someone over the age of 18 have the ability to make informed consent when they're not also fully
So
developed?
if you don't think that like a 15 or 16-year-old, if you do think that, like, for instance, a 15-year-old can consent to sex, that's like I'm gonna be honest, pedophilic.
I mean, I'm not meaning to make that argument. I don't think that applies over the age of 18.
You don't think that it applies over the age of 18? So you'd argue that they can't make informed consent for 18-year-olds, but they can make informed consent for other people their same age?
I mean, why would...
Can I just get a yes or no?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Okay. So this tells me that I think you have a misunderstanding of what informed consent is. What is informed consent?
I mean, informed consent is you have the foreknowledge and then you make a decision based off that.
Okay. Even operating off of your definition, are you saying that they wouldn't have said foreknowledge to make that decision if it's with somebody that's 18, but they would have that foreknowledge to make the decision if it's somebody that's the same age as them? I think in both scenarios,
are you saying
that have
are
just
you
as
saying
much
that,
knowledge about what sex is and what it leads to, meaning in both scenarios, there would not be present informed consent. How does the age of the person that they'd be engaging in sex with change the amount of foreknowledge they'd have about their decision? Can you answer that question? And I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it so it's clear. How does the age of the person that they would be engaging in intercourse with change the amount of foreknowledge they would have about that decision?
I think if someone's older, they're obviously going to have more foreknowledge, so they can influence the person who's younger.
You're misunderstanding my question. We're talking about one singular 15-year-old. You're telling me that if this 15-year-old engages in sex with somebody that is 18, there is not informed consent, making it rape. But you're telling me simultaneously, if this 15-year-old were to engage in intercourse with somebody else that is 15, they would have informed consent. Therefore, it is not rape. Right? That's your position?
Yes.
And then you defined informed consent of having the foreknowledge to make a decision, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what about the age of the person they'd be engaging in intercourse with change about the foreknowledge they'd possess in making said decision?
The older you are, typically, like, you have more lived experience, and then you also have...
Their age isn't changing.
So?
In both scenarios, they're 15.
No, yes, but the person that's influencing them, to make the decision is also older.
Okay, and that's what I'm asking you, is why are you arguing to me that they would possess enough foreknowledge to make that decision if the other person is 15, but they wouldn't possess that amount of foreknowledge to make that decision if the person they're engaging in intercourse with is 18? My position would be, in both scenarios, they do not have the rational faculties to possess sufficient foreknowledge to make that decision. So you think in both scenarios they don't have enough foreknowledge, right? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't think that an informed consent would exist in either of the two scenarios at all. I don't. None of the two scenarios would we see foreknowledge exists, right? And
So
the
then
difference
what
between
makes-
and the difference between the scenarios is that one would be unconsensual on both parties, and in the other scenario, it'd be unconsensual for one party, right? And because of that, well, I guess that's not a good way to word it. What I mean to say is that when there's like two 15-year-olds that are engaging in intercourse, neither of them possess the rational faculties to make said informed consent for the sex. So we're not really going to blame either party, and we're just going to try to socially disincentivize it by like promoting the idea that you shouldn't be engaging in sex until you're an adult, and providing access to education to demonstrate why that's a good idea to wait until you're 18 to our youth. But we're not going to like blame and like incarcerate like a 15-year-old for having intercourse with another 15-year-old, since on both parties they didn't possess informed consent. And the difference between that and like a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old is that the 18-year-old was an adult. They do have the rational faculties developed to understand consent, and they were engaging in intercourse with a party that is a minor that doesn't possess those same rational faculties. So we're going to put the blame on them.
Right, exactly. That's what I said. The question I have towards you, I think.
Wait, I just want to agree. I just want to clarify. You agree with everything I just said so far?
So I agree with the fact that in the case of like the 18-year-old having more knowledge, and then they're taking advantage of someone who's 15, obviously that creates an imbalance.
Okay, but do you agree with the first part that I said about how, regardless if it's a 15-year-old engaging in sex with another 15-year-old or with an 18-year-old, there's not informed consent in either scenario?
Sorry, repeat that one more time.
But do you agree with like the meat on the bone that I've continued to repeat and argue for here, that you literally can't even contest, you're just stun locked without anything to say, which is that when a 15-year-old engages in an intercourse with another 15-year-old, there's not informed consent present. Because the presence of the informed consent there does not hinge on who they're engaging in intercourse with, but rather it hinges on their own rational faculties.
I see what you're saying. So what would you say that the intercourse between the two 15-year-olds would be defined as?
I think the word is statutory grape. I could be using the wrong word. There is a specific word for it.
No, between like the two 15-year-olds, they've made the decision to like have sex. What would you define that as?
Like I just told you, I think that there's a specific phrase for it, and I think that specific phrase is statutory grape.
Okay. Then I guess I agree with you. I don't want to. I'll look into that more. I can make. Can we talk about something else?
So you agree or do you disagree?
With the fact that informed consent.
The informed consent is not present.
15 because they're uneducated.
When two 15-year-olds are engaging in intercourse with each other, informed consent is not present in both parties.
Well, doesn't that that depends on both like education, laws, and societal like standards, right? Or no?
This sounds like, although they're 15, they're mentally mature enough to make that decision for themselves, which is once again predator rhetoric.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just agree with you on this. I think you make a good point.
Okay. So you are so do you think like if a 15-year-old were to get pregnant that they should have access to abortion?
Well, this is where again this is where I'm going to fundamentally disagree, and I don't necessarily want to debate abortion because I come from the position where I do believe that it is, a human life, and the beginning of human development starts at conception. So I would obviously factor in the life of the unborn.
Yeah, but guess
so
what?
It changes the narrative.
Guess what? The pregnant 15-year-old has no obligation to provide their bodily resources to keep the fetus alive. No obligation at all.
So you don't think that if someone had the option to save a life and they didn't do it, then they wouldn't have an obligation to do it?
Yep. No, not in all scenarios. For instance, how much money is in your bank account?
I don't want to say, but not a bad amount.
Give me a number. Make one up.
I don't know. Just say 20,000.
Okay, 20,000. I'm sure if you took 10,000 of that and donated it to some cause somewhere in the world, it could be spent on food to save people's lives and prevent them from starving to death. Do you think now, with the knowledge of this fact, that you now possess an obligation to take $10,000 out of your bank account and do exactly that with it?
I mean, I would like to say yes. So you're saying that like my money, who's it saving?
Like someone that is on the brink of starving to death somewhere in the world, and if you donate to this charity, it will give them food and save their life.
Okay, and is this a situation in which like they are dependent on me by like the nature of the situation?
Well, yeah, realistically, if you don't donate your money, this person or this group of people will die.
I mean, yes, I would say you are obligated to do that.
Okay,
like,
do it right now. Do it right now.
I donate my money.
If you have an obligation, do it right now. I want you to donate every dollar in your bank account to, let's find a charity that will save lives. Let's see. Charities to prevent people from starving to death. Let's see if you could be a man of your word, because you're using this line of dialogue to justify real children getting denied access to healthcare, and that is the real outcome of your thoughts here. So let's see if you're going to hold that same idea towards yourself. Let's see here. So we're going to be specifically looking for charities that offer emergency food aid. Okay, World Food Program. Let's see here.
Wait, hold on. Can I interrupt you real quick? I do have something.
Let's see here. So the UN World Food Program, and this is specifically a food program for emergency aid. And let's see here. What I want you to do is go to UN World Food Program, which is WFP.org, and I want you to donate every dollar in your bank account.
Okay, let me say something. I am on the website. I'm checking it out. There is a difference between you're physically in the act of abortion. You are taking an action to cut off, the stage of human development, rather than not abdicating the duties. You are taking an action to stop the life.
Okay, well now you're changing your argument. Your last argument was that they'd have an obligation to save the life in virtue of the fact that if they didn't, they would die. Right? And very similar, I'm telling you that there is lives of, according to the UN, 319 million people that are on the brink of dying from starvation on the global stage. And if you donate, it could be the difference between a child going to bed hungry and dying, or eating a nutritious meal and living. I literally just wrote that off of the World Food Program's website. So it would be the same logic to underpin the position. So if you think that the 15-year-old that is pregnant in this scenario would have a sufficient obligation to allow her body to be mutilated and tortured by that pregnancy that is being forced onto her by the state using your reasoning, why wouldn't you have an obligation to, at the bare minimum, donate every dollar in your bank account today to said World Food Program?
Because the difference is that the lack of action on my part is different than forcefully taking action to end a pregnancy.
Oh, okay. So then you're saying that the abortion pill that just simply cuts off the supply of progesterone from the umbilical cord to the fetus are completely justified because they're just forcing a lack of action, that action being the exchange of bodily resources to prevent the fetus's starvation.
But you're making a choice to take something that causes that. So it's still the same thing.
But it results in the same outcome of a life dying from a lack of action.
No. I'm saying you take action to take the abortion, like the day after pill. Do you not?
Yeah, just like you are now taking an action in an opposite sense of not donating to save the lives.
Well, not doing something is different than physically doing something.
However, doing something and not doing something in this context are producing the same outcome, so why would we not treat them identically?
Because one, you physically have to do something, and the other that you don't.
Well, it's the fact that you physically don't have to do something. It's producing the same outcome. Your lack of action here is preventing, or more so causing, the deaths of children using your logic.
No, but I'm saying in her case that no matter what, it is taking action.
It's stopping an action. It's stopping...
it's stopping an action by taking an action.
Right, and in the other scenario, it's stopping an action by not taking an action. If they produce the same
Exactly,
outcome,
so the difference is not taking an action versus taking an action.
But they produce the same outcomes.
Just because they produce the same outcomes doesn't mean that the methods are the same. For example,
Wait. But you said
someone dies-
obligation. But you said obligation. A moral obligation would be something that you'd be compelled to do.
I think I misspoke.
So using your logic, because you argued that it's an obligation, you'd be morally compelled to engage in the action of donating your bank account to the World Food Program, is that is the nature of a moral obligation, meaning that you're doing something wrong if you don't do it. See, the issue with your line of logic now, which I understand, is you're simply saying the difference is that you'd be not engaging in an action, thereby the fact that this outcome is produced is morally irrelevant. Well, therefore, you're arguing that you actually don't have an obligation to provide your resources to keep other people alive. Right? Because the nature of an obligation is something that you'd be morally compelled to do. So a stance of inaction or not doing something, such as not donating, would be in violation of said obligation. That is what an obligation is.
Okay, yeah, I think I misspoke with that, saying that I needed an obligation. And I think you're right.
Okay. So if you don't have an obligation to provide your resources, given that if you don't, somebody will die, then neither does a pregnant 15-year-old.
But the pregnant 15-year-old, in order to like cut off the resources, has to take action. That's the difference.
And why is that action wrong?
Because the action is terminating a pregnancy.
Because of the outcome that it leads to?
Yes.
So you're saying that the set of conditions is wrong because of the outcome that it leads to? I thought that you told me when I was telling you that, well, your lack of action would lead to the identical outcome. You told me that the outcome was irrelevant. And now you're telling me that it's wrong because of the outcome, and you're contradicting yourself.
Well, it's wrong because of the outcome, because of the steps it took to get there.
Okay, so then if you're saying it's wrong because of the outcome, then your lack of action is wrong because of the outcome. I thought that we already agreed that the outcomes here would be identical. It's wrong because of the outcome.
It's not wrong because of the outcome. For example,
okay, then if it's not wrong because of the outcome, then why would it be wrong for a 15-year-old to get an abortion?
Because she's taking action. If a baby dies in utero,
okay, why is the action wrong? Why is the action wrong?
Because it's terminating a pregnancy.
Okay, because of the... Oh, wait, why is it wrong to terminate a pregnancy?
But it's taking action to terminate a pregnancy versus it happening naturally.
And why is it wrong to terminate a pregnancy?
It's wrong because it cuts off a human life.
Okay, and is that the outcome that it leads to?
Right.
So in other words, it's wrong because of the outcome?
No, because...
But if it's not wrong because of the outcome, then why is it wrong?
Okay, can I lay out this hypothetical for you?
Right? No, I'm just curious insofar as what your position here is on why you think that abortion is morally wrong, completely irrelevant of the outcome.
Okay, so let me. It's factoring in the outcome. Like, let's say someone dies of natural causes versus them getting shot. There's a difference.
Yeah, the difference would be is that in one scenario, the outcome is being produced by a non-moral agent, and then the other scenario, the outcome is being produced by a moral agent, right? And this outcome scenario would be produced by you as a moral agent, ignoring your apparent moral obligation to save this life. Right? And if you would argue that you don't have an obligation, when an obligation would be the you being compelled to engage in an action to stop and prevent the death of another individual, well, then your first argument insofar as why the 15-year-old girl would have an obligation to maintain her pregnancy was wrong. So I'll just ask you again, why would it be wrong for a 15-year-old victim of rape to access abortion?
It's wrong for her to access abortion because she is taking an action which interferes with the natural process. That's the choice she makes.
So taking actions to interfere with the natural process is wrong?
If that natural process results in... The natural process of life is that everyone dies, right? So I don't see how your argument is...
I mean, does it all of modern medicine interfere with the natural process?
Right, but it interferes with it in a positive way. So in this way, it interferes with it in a negative way.
Okay, well, when you say it interferes with it in a negative way, you're just presupposing that it's wrong, thereby making your argument it's wrong because it's wrong, unless you want to be able to give me an argument insofar as why it is negative or wrong to kill the fetus.
Okay, and that's what I can, if you want to talk about that, I can give you that
why
argument.
is it wrong to kill a fetus?
Okay, so I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to try it on a secular perspective. So I'll tell you what you think. So first and
Jeanette,
foremost,
thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube. That came in a while ago, Jeanette. I really appreciate you so much for the love. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Please show some love to Jeanette down below in that comment section. Thank you so much. And Tammy in my YouTube chat says, not MAGA, but I recognize narcissistic behaviors, cutting off Dean. Tammy, I got to disagree with you here. I would say that if he doesn't think or if he wants to forcefully compel children that are victims of rape to have their body mutilated by pregnancy, then it's okay for me to forcefully compel him to shut the hell up for me to thank a donor. But once again, Janet, I really do appreciate you for the $100 over on Super Chat. Let's please get 1,000 Janet W's down below. Like, that is seriously insane. Thank you so much. As well as Angela, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you so much. Angela says, chicks assaulted in their teen years appreciate you. Angela, if that happened to you, I'm incredibly sorry that did. And I also apologize you have to listen to this sick shit, but I really appreciate you for the $20. Show some love to Angela down below in that comment section. As well as, let's see here. We're going to go to load up the PayPal in the meantime. Go ahead and tell me why killing a fetus is wrong.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to say that, while I do believe abortion is murder, I don't believe, I believe you believe that it's a choice and that you're protecting rights. So I don't see you as immoral because I believe, from your perspective, that's what you think. So I don't appreciate being called immoral.
Well, I think you are immoral.
But from my perspective, am I immoral?
From your perspective, you're not immoral. Just like Hitler.
Exactly.
Hitler's perspective wasn't immoral.
I guess that's okay. Well, whatever. That's a good argument. Anyway, so crap. That's a good argument, Dean. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, the reason why I think abortion is murder is because I believe that human development starts at conception. Which
so human development beginning at conception is a scientific fact? That's not a moral argument.
So is the DNA not formed when sperm enters the egg?
Is the DNA not formed when the sperm enters the egg? I'm pretty sure that's when it begins to form. That's a scientific fact. Once again, not a moral argument.
So you pinpoint that moment
as a beginning of human life? Yeah. Scientific fact.
Yes.
Not a moral argument.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And saying it's murder is a moral argument.
No. So human development starts at that point, right?
Yes. Scientific fact. Not a moral argument for why abortion is murder.
So let me ask you this.
No, give me your moral argument for why abortion is murder.
Okay, so by interceding in that abortion, by interceding by having an abortion, you're cutting off the beginning of human life, and therefore that human is never able to form.
Okay, so you're saying you're ending the human life, and that's murder?
Yes.
Okay, bad definition of murder. Self-defense is ending a human life. Is self-defense murder?
No, but you are taking action.
Exactly, and that's why it's a bad account of murder. So a better account of murder would be unjustly terminating a human life, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why is it unjust to terminate the life of the fetus?
I mean, it depends on the circumstance, right? So in the case of the life of the mother being threatened, that baby's not going to have the chance to live, and so therefore, by cutting off the pregnancy, you're not cutting off that potential of life.
Okay. You're just kind of like speaking like a magic 8-ball here. You're not really giving me clear answers. I just asked you why it's unjust to terminate the life of a fetus, and then you give me one circumstance where you do think it's just. That wasn't an answer to my question.
So it's unjust in the case where your life is not threatened, because that if the natural process took its way, that baby would be born, and then that baby would have the opportunity to live, to love.
Okay, so you're saying that it's like unjust to kill a fetus because it could be a person like you or I in the future?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Can we agree that a zygote would be a person like you or I in the future if left undisturbed?
And yes.
So is it murder to kill a unicellular human zygote?
And human zygote is
the first stage of human development.
I do believe so, yes.
Okay, all right. If you were dictator of the world, would you suggest that all murderers should go to jail?
Yes, I do.
So if you were dictator of the world, you would send people that are culpable for the murder of zygotes to prison.
Well, I mean, if you define... Sorry.
That just simply logically follows.
Yes, I would send everyone who murders to prison.
So if you murder a zygote, you think I should... If I were to murder a zygote, you'd say I should be sent to prison.
Okay, but do you view it as a human life? Do you view it as a human life?
I don't think that matters.
It does really matter, actually.
So you wouldn't send like all of the really racist white people during American slavery that would murder black people to jail because they didn't view them as human?
Did Abraham Lincoln?
I don't understand what Abraham Lincoln has to do with my question.
That's what I'm asking. Like, Abraham Lincoln didn't do it because he recognized these people were uninformed, and so he was like, okay, we need to move
Abraham
forward
Lincoln
from
has nothing to do with the question that I asked you. I'll repeat the question. So would you say that all the racist white people that would murder black people during American slavery, should they be sent to jail, or should they not be sent to jail since they didn't see them as human?
I mean, I no, I don't think so.
You don't think? Okay. Wow. So if you kill a black person in America 200 years ago, you shouldn't be sent to jail. But if you kill a unicellular human organism in America today, you should be sent to jail.
I don't think you should be sent. No, Dean. I don't think that you should be sent to jail today because you're people are uninformed. They don't believe it's a human life.
I'm going to ignore that first part of the question just to confirm. If you kill a black person in America 200 years ago, you shouldn't go to jail, under your view.
If they understood that, if they thought it wasn't a human life.
Black people are not its.
Sorry, my apologies. Of course. So, I'll give you an example.
No, finish the answer to that question. So if you're in America 200 years ago, you kill a black person, you don't think you should be sent to jail.
Is this like before black people were defined by the law as human, or yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so by that metric, they wouldn't have been sent to jail, so no.
Oh. Now you're equivocating between what did occur and what should occur. And we're talking about what should occur.
Okay, if I was back there and I could change whatever I wanted, then obviously I would define it by law. I would define black
people. So you'd say that they should have gone to jail, right? Right?
They should have gone to jail
if you were God.
If they were defined as human.
But when they weren't defined as human, they shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have gone to jail.
Legally speaking, of course. That's how it works.
We're not talking, dude. I thought that we just cleared this up. In states where child marriage is legal, and it is legal for a 40-year-old man to sleep with a 14-year-old, I would still say he should be locked up for the rest of his goddamn life. Okay?
Right.
Because we're not talking about what is the case. We're talking about what should be the case. And that is the last time I will clarify. So, once again, right, for all of the super racist white people during American slavery that did not see black individuals in America as people, can we agree that they should have gone to jail?
I agree they should have gone to jail, yes.
Okay. Why did it take me asking you that question 4 times before you agreed that they should have gone to jail? Do you really mean that? Or did you mean what you said?
I do mean that. I'm just nervous. Sorry.
Okay. So now you'd say if you kill a life that you think is valuable, regardless if you think it's a human or not, you should go to jail. So why did you ask me in the hypothetical of me killing a unicellular human zygote if I knew it was a human or not?
Because obviously I would love, hold on, let me collect my thoughts. Okay, so what I would say is that the reason that I think that matters is because that's how public policy is determined. Now, yes, I think that a woman...
Wait, you just agreed that's not how you think public policy should be determined.
No, I think public policy, that's how public policy should be determined. If someone's sent to jail, they need to be sent off to jail on a legal basis. But in an idealistic world, yes, I would like all murderers...
Right, we're talking about the idealistic world. So in your idealistic world, if you kill a human zygote, you think you should be in jail.
In my idealistic world, where it's defined as the law, yes.
Just in your idealistic world. Okay. So you would say that women with IUDs, which is a form of a contraceptive that can kill zygotes, that know it can kill zygotes, and it does kill a zygote, should be sent to prison for the rest of their life in your idealistic world.
Not if public policy defines
I thought that we were just talking about your idealistic world. Why are you so confused?
Yes, in my idealistic world.
Why are you so confused, Isaac?
Probably just nervous.
We're talking about your idealistic world here.
So in my idealistic world, if public policy says that, then yes.
Okay. Do you think that public policy should say that?
I do, yes.
Okay, so ultimately you do think that women on some forms of birth control that kill zygotes should be locked up for the rest of their lives?
Well, if public policy defines that, yes.
But ultimately you think that they should go to jail because you think that public policy should define that. You're pivoting.
No, yes.
Okay, so ultimately you do think that women on some forms of birth control that are sexually active and killing zygotes should be in prison for the rest of their life. Really?
Well, let me break this down. So if public policy defines that...
And you think that public policy should define that?
Yes. So then that person is defined as a life, and then that person, the woman, is knowingly terminating a life. In a lot of cases right now, she's not knowingly terminating a life.
So for all the women that know that IUDs can kill zygotes, right, and they're still sexually active, and it does kill a zygote, you'd say they should be imprisoned because they're knowingly terminating lives?
Yeah, but that's if the public policy defines that.
Dude, stop saying if the public policy defines it. I'm asking, do you think it should be defined that way?
I do think public policy should be defined that way.
Okay, so then you do think that women on certain forms of birth control ultimately should be imprisoned, right?
Yes, because then they would have the foreknowledge and be upheld by the law.
So they ultimately should be imprisoned. Yes or
if
no?
they have the foreknowledge.
Yes. I'm gonna stop repeating it. I'm gonna stop repeating this. Yes, women with IUDs know how the IUDs work. Women with IUDs know that in some circumstances, the IUD will prevent the implantation of the zygote into the uterine lining, starving it to death, right? You think that's murder. You said ultimately, under your view, all murderers should go to jail for the rest of their lives. And because they're classified as a murderer, you would say that they should go to jail for the rest of their lives in lack of all other reason, correct?
Yes, but that woman is knowingly terminating a zygote, but she doesn't know the life.
She is culpable for the killing of a unicellular organism. That doesn't make your case better. You understand that just makes you look crazier.
No. The key is
that just makes you look crazier. Dude, he's trying to justify his view by explaining, oh, but she knew it would kill the unicellular organism. Like that's gonna make it, oh guys, I'm gonna appeal to the crowd. Guys, she knew that she knew that this birth control could kill the thing that's smaller than bacteria. Guys, please. Okay, all right, on a real note. So that's why your view's bad. Right? Because obviously it's insane and absurd to suggest, right, that it is murder to kill a unicellular organism. And it is even more insane and more absurd to suggest that a woman that kills one of these unicellular organisms by being sexually active while in birth control should be imprisoned until the day they die. And that's why your view is bad. Okay? We used a reductio ad absurdism to demonstrate why your view is flawed, as it entails these incredibly absurd outcomes. And it is the same logic that it entails these incredibly absurd outcomes that you are using to entail the idea that abortion is murder. Boom. Mic drop.
So you're saying that because there's weird outcomes, then therefore... See, I think the thing that you misspoke on is just that I'm not saying that she's knowingly terminating a life. She's knowingly terminating a zygote, which she doesn't know is a life. So she's knowingly taking an action, but she doesn't know that it's a life.
We already went through this, Isaac. I'm done with you. Should I kick you?
No, we can discuss something else.
Because remember how we already went through this? So, yeah, women know what a unicellular human zygote is. But even if they didn't, it wouldn't matter for the reason that I gave you, about how, right, really racist white people thought forever that black individuals were not human lives and they would kill them and murder them, and we agreed that they still should have gone to jail even though they didn't think they were human lives. I'm at the point of wanting to kick you now because I thought that we already went through that whole line of thought in relation to the notion that somebody shouldn't be in prison for murder if they don't know they're murdering.
I don't think they should be in prison for murder if they don't know think they're murdering.
And you define murder as the unjust termination of human life. So if they don't think that they're unjustly terminated in human life, they shouldn't be in prison. Guess what? Every murderer ever thinks that they're justified, meaning they don't think they're unjustly terminated in human life. You just said that every murderer ever shouldn't be imprisoned. You have to concede now. You must concede now.
Murderers know that they're killing a human life, don't they?
Yeah, but the definition of murder isn't killing a human life. It's unjustly killing a human life. So if you murder somebody and you think you're justified, under your view, you shouldn't go to jail because you don't know that you're murdering. Got it.
Okay, so you're saying that basically because like they think it needs to be, or sorry, the definition is unjustly murder, like terminating a human life.
Murder is the unjust termination of a human life. Can we agree that if you murder somebody and you think you're justified, you therefore are not thinking that you're fulfilling the definition of what murder is. You don't think that you're murdering. And you just said if you don't think that you're murdering and you murder somebody, you shouldn't go to jail. Therefore, if you murder somebody and you think you're justified, you don't think that you're murdering because murder is always unjust, meaning that under your view, you shouldn't go to jail. Right?
Well, the difference is these people think that they're not, they know they're taking someone's life.
But they don't know that it's unjust.
Justified.
Exactly, meaning that they don't know that they're murdering.
The difference is...
The difference is nothing because they don't know that they're murdering.
No, there is a difference.
Do they know that they're murdering? Yes or no?
They know they're taking a human life.
That's not what I asked. Do they know that they're murdering? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, and you told me 30 seconds ago that if you don't know that you're murdering and you murder somebody, you shouldn't go to jail. Yes or no?
Yes, I said that.
Okay, so if you don't know that you're murdering somebody and you murder somebody, you shouldn't go to jail. And murderers that think it's justified when they murder somebody don't know that they're murdering somebody, meaning that if you murder somebody and you think that you're justified, you shouldn't go to jail, right? It is a two-premise argument.
Right. Okay, I get what you're saying. I don't have a good response for that.
The good response is that even if you don't know that you're murdering and you murder somebody, you should still go to jail.
Yeah, okay.
I'm kicking it. Oh my God. Oh, fuck, man. That dude was like nuts. That dude was nuts. Bro. Okay. Sorry, just needed a second there. Annie! Thank you so much for the $100 donation over on YouTube Super Chat. Annie, that is very fucking kind of you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Annie. Show some love to Annie down below in that comment section, everybody. Please show some love to Annie down below. That is so much money. I really appreciate you so much for the $100. Thank you so much. As well as, let's see here. Thank you. Seriously, Annie, thank you. As well as Vivian, thank you for the $50 over on Venmo. Saying, OMG, I love your video so much. I have just one question because I'm curious. Why do you think, or why do you want to only debate people who are Americans? Because I think it'd be good to debate them and prove them wrong on how Donald Trump is such a bad president, regardless of where they're at. No hate, by the way. No, it's a good question. I appreciate you for the $50. Show some love to Annie and Vivian down below. The answer to your question is that if they're outside of America, they're more likely to be lower info, meaning more annoying to me. And they also just don't possess any electoral power inside of America. And like ultimately, right, I do these debates, but I do them under my prerogative of trying to build more electoral power towards what is good inside of the American political system. And like discussing with individuals that are outside of America, they don't serve in alignment with my prerogative of building more electoral power for that, and which is good. But good question, Vivian. I really do appreciate you so much for the $50. If you guys could please show some love to Vivian down below. As well as Grace, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo as well. Grace, that is so fucking kind of you. Seriously, you guys have all been incredibly kind to me today. Grace with 50 big ones says, Dean, I really appreciate everything that you do. You've given me so much valuable information to help me understand and respond to my MAGA brother's views. Your support gives me hope, and I truly see you as a hero. Thank you, Grace. That is literally so kind of me. So kind of you. And I hope that me, myself, alongside other creators on this platform, have been able to give you good information to take to your brother and to try to change his mind. Honestly, I commend you. I understand how much of a daunting, difficult task that is. I've been there myself many times, and good luck with that. And once again, I really appreciate you for your kindness. Show some love to Grace down below. As well as Rami, thank you for the $20. I appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you. Thank you so much. Saying, for these guys, it's always about the woman, never about the man. Yeah, they always leave the man out of the equation. What does that tell you? Thank you, Rami. As well as Ethan with the $5 saying, love your streams. And Liziette with $5 as well. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Please show some love to everyone that is supported on Venmo down below in that comments section. I would also like to very quickly thank, let's see here, Joseph for the $20 over on PayPal. Joseph didn't leave a message, all in the love. Thank you so much, Joseph. That is very kind of you. As well as Robert with the $25 over on PayPal. Holy shit. Thank you, Robert. Robert says, well, there it is. This dickhead will do anything for the fetus, but not one damn thing to save a child that's alive and starving. Jesus Christ, 70-year-old Robert. I'm going to go ahead and assume that was when I used his logic against him to describe how, under his view, he'd be forced into donating all of his money to a charity. Thank you for the love, Robert, and it's good to see you again. You already know you're one of my favorite people. As well as Ellie, this came in a little bit ago, but I still just wanted to thank you so much for the $50 donation on PayPal. That is ELLI. Let's get 500 LEWs down below in the comment section. Now, Ellie didn't leave a message, only the love. That is very kind of you. Show some love to Ellie down below. Thank you so much. As well as Haley with the $20. Thank you, Haley. Haley says, my dad heard me watching your stream and blocked me on everything Lamau, but somehow liberals are the snowflakes. Well, although that is slightly comedic, Haley, stay safe. And I'm sorry that happened to you. That's kind of like really sad. And I apologize for calling it slightly comedic. As well as Anna, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Anna. And Emma with the $11 on PayPal saying, hey, Dean, I can't get in your Discord. Please help. My account is something I'm not going to read off. Can you or an admin send me an invite or help me? Go to the Discord app, go to join, and just type in code Dean. And you should be able to get in there. Maybe the link in my link tree doesn't work, and it's like a typical glitch with links and link trees on TikTok. Michaela, thank you for the $5 as well over on PayPal. We are all caught up, and I appreciate everyone so much for the love. I do apologize that it has taken me a while to read through all of the donuts. Anyways. All right, guys. For the 13,000 people that are hanging out with us on TikTok and the 4,000 people that are hanging out with us on YouTube, we are going to go ahead and do one more debate of the evening. So if you are watching and you are a Trump-supporting American adult, I want you to go ahead and type a me with your age down below in that comment section. And I want you to hop in that queue, and we'll get you pulled up here. And if you want to support me and what we do here before we end the stream for the night, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. Now, let's go ahead and get that very last guest of the night up here right now. We got Katie rolling in to the live. Hey, what's up? You support Trump as president, Katie? Katie? Did you lie in the chat to come up and take a screenshot? Yeah. Moving on to the next guest. Go ahead and put a me with your age if you're MAGA. Let's get that last guest of the night up here. Funny enough, we actually just lost our ability to push out on the free page.
How are you?
Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, how do you?
I'm 72.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked you that question. You very obviously sound over the age of 18.
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions about the vaccine issues.
Well, I'm not a medical health professional, so I don't know if I'm the best person to go to for questions, but I mean, I could try to answer them.
Well, you seem to like science, as I do.
Okay.
But are you aware of all the science in the 40s, 50s, and 60s that said cigarette smoking was actually good for you?
I do. And do you remember all the science from the 90s, early 2000s, and 2010s that said it's bad for you, that you're actively using to refute the idea that it's good for you? So seemingly you only believe what the medical health professionals say when it's convenient towards your position?
Not at all. I agree they found it came clean. Are you familiar with phlebotomies?
Yes.
Those are also very big in the 60s. In fact, I think one of the Kennedy daughters had one and been hospitalized. But then science came out and said, it's probably not good.
Yeah, that was a fucking really sad story. That was a really sad story.
What's that?
Very sad story about the Kennedy daughter who got lobotomized.
I understand. It's a horrible story. Are you familiar with the swine flu vaccine?
No.
Okay. 74, I was still in the military. It became mandatory. Thank God they pulled it because 30% developed Guillain-Barré symptoms. So my only point is that I believe in science, but science is not always correct. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've got a polio vaccine. I've got still my scar for my smallpox vaccine. But to compare the polio vaccine to, say, the COVID vaccine, I think is silly because it's not even close in efficacy and so forth.
Yeah, science isn't always right as science is evolving, and we're always gaining a better understanding of the world around us. In fact, if science claimed to always be right, then I wouldn't trust the science. But the fact that the science doesn't claim to be always right and evolving the more that we learn gives us the most reason to trust the science as it positions itself as a truly objective field of thought and research. And I would argue here that if you don't think you should trust a vaccine because science is not always right, then you should never trust really anything, right? The engineers that made your vehicle are not infallible and can make mistakes. Therefore, you should never drive a car anywhere in the off chance that they made a mistake and the brakes are gonna stop working or the wheels are gonna fall off.
No, as I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means whatsoever. All my children have been vaccinated. Measles, mumps, and rubella were great.
Oh, sweet.
But what I really, really have a problem with is science and people who support science allegedly say that, this vaccine saved millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people. And I absolutely don't think there's science to prove that that statement is true. Did it help? Omicron, the variant Omicron, was the beginning of the end of COVID, not the vaccine.
Can I just ask you why you support Trump?
Oh, I support him for many, many reasons. To begin with, I think he's an a-hole. So we'll start with that. But I do like the way that he seems to be bringing many, many countries, especially NATO, together, meeting with him. The Finnish president is meeting with him. NATO's taken an active role in trying to end the Ukrainian war. And no, he didn't end it in day one, but I think he's done an awful lot to try to stop the killing. Hasn't been successful yet, but I really hope he was. And if the 3 years left under Biden was any indication of Biden or Kamala doing anything to try to stop the killing, I don't think they were very successful. I don't think
they were more
anything.
successful than Trump.
I don't believe that, no.
I know that they're more successful than Trump because now Donald Trump has adopted their policy. Because Donald Trump defunded Ukraine in his first month in office, he just made them weaker. And he made Russia stronger, and he took pressure off of Russia to engage in peace talks, which led to Russia dropping the most missiles and bombs they have since February of 2022 when the conflict began on Ukraine. And you can't say no to this. And the reason why I say you can't say no to this is because this is one of the few wrongs of Donald Trump's that Donald Trump has actually recognized and changed his position on. It honestly might be the one thing Donald Trump was ever doing wrong that he realized he was doing wrong and then conceded and did what the Democrats thought were good because he realized the Democrats were right. It might be the one example ever, right? Because on July 11th, he resumed all military funding and aid to Ukraine. And then 3 or 4 days ago, he put out a statement on Truth Social repeating that by saying that we need to continue to give Ukraine funding and putting more pressure on Russia to end the invasion of Ukraine. And what that tells me is positive in a sense that Donald Trump is waking up to that fact, but negative in the sense that we could have avoided the last 8 months of more killing if we just simply voted for Kamala Harris.
I disagree. So let me just give you my take on Russia, Putin, and Ukraine. Putin is a paper tiger. And I say that because I've been to Moscow, I've been to Sochi. So the only one that ever knew that Putin, or not Putin, but the USSR, the Soviets, are not powerful. They're falling apart. Many of their civilians, men, they're trying to flee that country as fast as they can, and they're being prevented from doing that. The only reason we even consider Putin is because he has nuclear weapons. Now, do I think that Putin was ever, in the palm of Trump, or Trump was ever, under the power of Putin? No, I don't believe that one bit. I think that he handled Trump. Has tried many things. He tried to get Europe to stop buying oil from Russia. There's still two countries. What are the two countries?
So stopping buying oil from Russia is a good thing. Do you, like Trump and other MAGA supporters, blame Biden for the higher prices of gas under his administration?
No, I don't believe the higher price or lower price is totally under the control of the president.
Right.
I do know,
but the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump is a hypocrite, because now you're saying it's a good thing that he isn't buying Russian oil, but under the Biden-Harris administration, when they also didn't buy Russian oil, which caused the price of gas to go up because it caused a shortage in the global supply, because we cut off a lot of that supply, Donald Trump then turned around and used that as a mechanism to say that the Biden-Harris administration was doing something bad by causing the price of oil to increase.
Well, again, that's a premise I disagree with.
You disagree with the notion that Trump said that Biden was a bad president that caused an increase in the price of gas?
No, I'm not disagreeing he said that.
Okay, and what caused that increase in the price of gas in part was Biden sanctioning Russian oil.
The fluctuation of gas has so many intricacies as to what does it.
Right, that's why I only said it.
My concern with war is that I don't think Biden did anything to help stop the war.
Okay.
He didn't.
Okay.
He supplied money. He supplied. Actually.
Okay. So if Biden did nothing to help stop the war, then why did we have lower rates of bombings on Ukraine under his administration?
The war with Ukraine has been controlled by what Ukraine has done to Russia. And I think with the support, Ukraine has done an awful lot to deteriorate Russians' readiness. Okay, I know you've probably never seen Russian soldiers or Russian Navy. I have. They're bad. They're not good. And as they say, the only reason is that Russia has a nuclear weapon, and that's why they're treated with.
You're not really responding to what I said here. I'll go ahead and repeat the question. So if Biden did nothing to stop Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and Donald Trump is, pulling out all the mechanisms and doing a great job, how come we've only seen Russia bomb Ukraine more since the second term started?
Well, I can answer that question with a question. Why did Russia invade Ukraine under two Democratic presidents?
I will happily talk to you about that when you answer my question.
I know it's Trump's fault, or it's the Republicans' fault.
I'll happily talk to you about that after you answer my question. I just won't be entertaining the deflection yet.
Well, I'm not deflecting anything. I'm talking about the war and killing of people, and I think Trump has done a lot. And the only thing,
wait, you're not answering the question though. Once again, if Donald Trump is so good and Biden was so bad, then why has Russia only started to bomb Ukraine more since Trump's second term started?
Because, as you say, they don't control the price of oil.
What?
Trump or Biden doesn't control when Russia can bomb or cannot bomb. Putin is an a-hole, and nothing Trump did caused him to increase the bombing.
Wait. So if there's no level of influence insofar as Russia's invasion of Ukraine by either Trump or Biden, then you shouldn't care what Trump or Biden are doing, as it ultimately is not influential in a meaningful way.
No. The only meaningful way is to get them to stop killing each other.
Okay, so you but the thing is that more people have been killed under Donald Trump's administration disproportionately at higher levels month by month.
No, I disagree with that. No, I disagree
yes,
with that.
Yes, it is, because Russia's been bombing Ukraine more and more and more.
Bombing, yes. Killing has not been more than under
what do you think the bombs do?
Versus 800 years.
What do the bombs do?
Well, they potentially can kill people.
Right.
But don't tell me that 3 years of bombing Ukraine killed less people than the last 6 months, 7 months.
That's not what I'm telling you. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that there's been higher levels proportionately in the last 6 months than any 6 months under the Biden-Harris administration.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's kind of, what's that term you use? Causation and correlation. You're doing the same thing.
I'm actually not, because I could explain the causal factor. I'd agree if I couldn't explain the causal factor that I would be engaging in that logical fallacy. But the causal factor is the fact that Donald Trump defunded Ukraine and started being pro-Russia. Yes, because he made the victim weaker, and he, in proxy, thereby making the aggressor stronger.
In practice, Ukraine has not received any less aid. Yes, there's been talks of cutting back, and we're not giving this, we're not giving that. No different than Biden saying we're not going to give you the F-16.
That's not true. They stopped the appropriation bills from February until July.
And again, if you believe that, trust me, Ukraine's been supported. It's been supported by NATO now, which I really love, and I really think.
Yes, I do believe. I do believe that. I do believe that. Yes, it is a fact that the appropriation bill stopped for military aid and funding for Ukraine from February until July.
I have no doubt that money was not given. He had many, many supporters throughout NATO, and they weren't weakened over the last 8 months. The culprit is Putin. I always thought he was. Again, I think way back when, I know the meeting with Putin.
If they weren't weakened by losing access to like millions of dollars of military funding and aid, actually billions, it'd be like a couple billion, like 4 billion probably, then why is it the case that Russia's been hitting them harder?
Well, again, they're still at war. They're still going to do it. And it really and truly, that burden is on Putin and nobody else.
Okay, so then you're saying that you don't know why Putin's hit them harder?
It certainly isn't because he thinks he's going to win. He's going to try to do as much as he can to leverage it.
I think at this point you're just being intentionally dense. Because I think it's like pretty common sense to understand that if there's an aggressor trying to kill a victim, if you make the victim weaker, the aggressor is going to hit them harder while they are weaker, taking advantage of that fact. Like, for instance, if you were fighting somebody that was trying to kill you. They were not facts. If you were fighting somebody that was trying to kill you, and you were putting up a fight back, and I walked behind you and I put handcuffs on you, right? So like
that never happened to you. No handcuffs on Ukraine. None.
Handcuffs
honestly.
are just signaling, right? Some like level of weakness, right? So if I put handcuffs on you and I make you less able to fight back against the aggressor that's trying to kill you, right? Is the aggressor going to take advantage of that and try to kill you even faster and harder now that you've been weakened and been made less able to fight back? Maybe before you had your hands handcuffed, right? They were landing one punch like every minute because they were trying to dodge, deflect, and weave you, and they were trying to account for the damage that they could do to you, that you could do to them. But if I were to handcuff your hands behind your back, they wouldn't be landing one punch every minute. They'd be going boom, 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 and hitting you the hardest they ever have because now you're weakened and less able to hurt them back, right?
Understand your premise, disagree with it. No.
You don't agree with that?
Okay. All right. No, I do not think.
Then I'm going to kick you because that's just disingenuous. What I just said is like not just common sense, but also war tactic. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example after I've kicked you now. World War II. When did Nazi Germany and Hitler declare war on America? After what? After what event did Nazi Germany declare war on America? After Pearl Harbor. After Japan declared war on us. So why did Nazi Germany wait until Japan declared war on us to declare war on us too? It's because when Japan declared war on us, he thought that we would be weaker as more of our military resources would be going to fighting Japan on the Western Front instead of Eastern Front in Europe, right? So he looked at us as weaker because of that, giving him a strategic advantage in his mind to be able to fight and defeat us in war easier. The same thing is true, like right now, and has been over the last couple months, of Russia, Putin, and Ukraine. When we stopped the billions of dollars in military aid and funding to Ukraine then had less money to spend on paying their soldiers and equipping them with military service needs like weapons, buying missiles and bombs and drones, meaning that they were weaker. So then Russia took advantage of that set of scenarios to hit them harder. Yeah, that is common sense and easy to explain. Coral, thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat. Coral, I really appreciate you for the love. Coral says, thank you for all that you do, even on this day. Even though this day was rough, I'm glad you keep on keeping on and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, Coral. That is very kind of you. I hope that you're doing all right. And thank you for the $50. That is ludicrously and insanely kind. Thank you so much, Coral. As well as Annie for the $50 as well. Thank you, Annie and Coral. Annie says, always catch your streams, but I've been in the hospital for 2 weeks. Thank you for helping keep me sane. Annie, are you okay? Dude, you're always in here. Are you like, I just want to make sure like you're okay, right? Like what are you in the hospital for? If you don't want to share, that's okay. I just want to make sure like you're good. I just want to make sure you're good, Annie. Annie's like literally always hanging out with us. If you watch my streams frequently, you know who Annie is. I really hope that you're okay. Thank you for the $50 and I hope that you get well soon. As well as Shelly, thank you for the $10 saying that you're awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Shelly. I'd also like to quickly thank Miley. Thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Liziette with the $4. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then Kimberly, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo saying, hey, Dean. I'm not going to read that question off on air. I want to keep that to myself, but it went all right. Thank you so much for the love, Kimberly. I hope that I answered your question. As well as Danny, thank you for the $50. I really appreciate you for the love, Danny, saying, if a fetus is alive, why can't I take out life insurance on it and collect if I miscarry? I think that you should be able to. Yeah, you should also have 2 social security numbers to split up your taxes, you know? Obviously. Sarah, thank you for the $10 as well. I appreciate you so much for the love, Sarah. And then Ruth with the $6.70. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I'd also like to very quickly thank, let's see here, Kiara, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Thank you, Kiara. Kiara says, genuinely thank you for everything that you do. I have so much respect for your views and how you debate. Kiara, that is very kind of you. I hope that you enjoy the streams, and I'm happy that you're in here hanging out with us. Thank you so much for the $20. Please show some love to Kiara down below in that chat. And then Anne, thank you for the $100 donation on PayPal. Anne, it is so good to see you again. Anne is also always hanging out with us. Anne says, with lots of love from Quebec City. You know, one of these days, Anne, I need to get up there, check out Quebec. I've been meaning to check out Canada for a couple of years now. I just haven't found the time. I've heard it's nice. Thank you for the $100. Show some love to Anne. And then Lola, thank you for the $15. Good to see you again. You're also always in here. Donica, I appreciate you for the $6. Alma with a $5. And we are all caught up. I really appreciate you guys for your kindness. Now, for everybody that is watching the stream, that was our last guest of the evening, and we are going to be hopping off now. Leonardo, I appreciate you for that meteor shower. Let me tell you, though, real quick. For the last 3 or 4 days, every single day, oh my God, I've been so busy. Wake up in the morning, do a bunch of work, go live, and then have like something to do until like literally midnight. I've had no free time for like the last 4 days. It's been like crazy. But tonight, for the first time in literally 4 days, I finally have some free time. And I'm looking forward to take full advantage of that. So that's what I'm going to do now, Leonardo. Thank you for another meteor shower. I will see you all tomorrow with some more debates